fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Oh God, don't get started. Superman, let's go. Oh God, don't get started. Superman, let's go.
But
I think it was a typo.
It's probably a typo.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 220 of the RGT podcast. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 220 of the RGT podcast. There we go. So good to see everybody. We've been away 3 weeks absent from the platform, man. But it's good to be back. That's for damn sure. Good to see everybody, and I hope everybody's doing well. It's good to be back. So let me pause that. There we go. But I'm glad everybody's good. So let's get into this, man. Let's get into this. We got the panel here. We got some returning faces. Long overdue, but we in here. Got my brother Red Hood 420. What up?
What's up, guys? And hopefully everyone's doing well. And to let everybody know, a lot of people kind of had to do an intervention for BitCloud, so to speak. Like, shout out to Cage, shout out to Delta, shout out to Blaze, shout out to a lot of people, Big Mike, everybody, for lighting a fire up underneath BitCloud, because we were begging this man to make content. We were begging this man to do RGT for you guys, and he finally did it. So, guys, if he somehow slips and stops making content, just DM him. Don't pester him too much. But let this man know you guys want the podcast, that you guys want the content from BitCloud. I'm happy, man. I'm really happy, because it was like about 2 or 3 weeks, man, of no RGT. It's crazy.
This man was legit crying. He's like, BitCloud. Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna get the Thanos.
No, it's not even me, bro. Name every single person, bro. Name them all, bro. I named them all.
Oh, no, I'm bringing up the things you say. See, Hunter wasn't here when you said this, but this is what he said, Hunter. He was like, yo, I'm gonna pull a Thanos. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna do it myself. I'll put it on.
Absolutely was gonna do it. I was about to offer money to buy the channel, dude, to freaking get some life support in it.
Oh, yeah, man. I wanted to give you some time. I just assumed that you had things to do, man. Like I know the grind. I've been doing the game writing and podcasting and all this stuff for
that's a thing.
13
too.
years now, man. Sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you just need 2 weeks or something just to unplug, and I do that too. I mean, I review games all the time. Like sometimes I'm just I just stop requesting for games for a couple of weeks because I'm like,
oh yeah,
I just want to play for fun. Like I need to take a break. I need to see my family. I need to relax and chill.
Yeah, I actually want to play, my games, not just talk about them. But it was a lot. It was a lot of things. Here we go.
Oh, totally, man.
But it was a lot. It was a lot going on. I still haven't even finished my. Well, I'm almost done writing it. I got one more part of it I got to finish, but it's from my Hogwarts review I had to submit. So it was I still had so much stuff on my plate. But
are you actually doing a written review?
Yeah, I'll show you that.
Nice. Okay, because we had talked about you doing written reviews, and is this your first one, or have you done other ones?
First one.
Oh,
and it's a game, and it's
Send
a game.
Me that link, man.
And it's a game that I fucking love. So I'm having fun with this.
I tell you, man, games media and games PR is such a wild ride, because I remember probably it was 6 or 7 years ago where PR was de-emphasizing the importance of written reviews, and they were doubling and tripling down on influencers and YouTubers, and then all those controversies came with all the YouTubers leaking stuff and Twitch streamers streaming stuff they're not supposed to, and I've seen a real big switch back now where it's if I say I'll do a written review of what you're doing, I get a much faster and much more positive response than if I say I'll do it on a podcast or I'll do it on a video.
Oh yeah.
So it's I think it's a good move for you, man.
Oh, dude, I had so much fun.
You'll get a lot of good things. I know it's tough, man. Sometimes jumping on camera is a little bit easier than not all the time. Sometimes it's more challenging.
Yeah,
but I find generally it's a little bit easier to jump on camera and just talk about a game versus
right to put it on paper.
Yeah,
exactly.
Spend 1,000 words. You're obsess over every word, every paragraph.
Oh, dude, but I was not. It was again. You know, the funny thing about it, I was having more fun writing it because it's like, I don't know how you like the Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm like, dude, this is honestly, this might be game of the year for me so far going into this year. Like, it's that good. Like, I just had so much fun with it. So I was like, dude, I'm just having too much fun writing this. But that's really where that was. But
it's good, man. It's good.
It was cool.
I love hearing that.
Oh yeah, I'll show you. Definitely show you. And returning, our brother from another mothers. It's been a minute, but I'm glad to have him back. He's getting closer. It's funny. He always acts funny when I say, dude, he's on the road to 100K. This dude is only 20K away from 100K, and he's literally closing in on it. This might be the year of Hunter. We might see him hit 100K at this point. So, welcome back, my brother Hunter. Good to see you, man. AKA Next Gen Player. What's up?
Going on, man? Yeah, man. I honestly like. I'm not sure what's going on half the time with my Twitter because like some days I don't even post. I've actually been like a little sick the last 3 weeks or so, and like a couple of days I just didn't even feel like posting, and I check back and I'd be like, why'd I get 70 followers today? Like I think it's because like the like my content like quite often gets into the trending, and I think it sticks in there for like 24 hours or 2 days. So even if I don't post stuff there, it's still in there. But yeah, I don't know, man. Plus we talked about it before the podcast, and I'll continue to say it, man. Like I'm pretty happy with Twitter Blue. I hate paying for stuff.
Results are showing.
I already have enough subscriptions to other things. I hate doing it, but like quite honestly, it's everybody that has a business or is running any kind of business has marketing spend. And to me, that's all this is. Like, it's not. I'm not paying it like out of pocket for like dumb reasons. It's like, no. I mean, I want to build an audience. I want to get people to see my stuff. I want people to, because when you leave comments, they now filter up the Twitter Blue to the top, right? So it's paid marketing, man. It's visibility, and it certainly worked. I was getting like probably around like 1K or so followers a month before Twitter Blue, and then after, it's like the lowest I think I've had now is like 2.5K in a month. Like it's literally like 2.5, 3 times, 4 times the amount of followers. And
wow,
dude, for like $6 or whatever, dude, it's probably the best money I've ever spent.
Twitter's pay to win now. Look at that. I hear it a lot.
Yeah, man. Well,
it's pay to win.
It's sad. It's sad. And like I said, I kind of feel a bit, shameful or embarrassed that you've got to do stuff like this. But like at the end of the day, it's like it's paid marketing, and it works. It's proven to work.
No ifs or buts about it at this point, for sure. And of course, Big Cloud, yes, me, finally, we're back at this show. Good to see everybody in the chat. Hope y'all doing well. Before we get into the topics, before we even talk about everything, I just want to let you guys know. A lot of you probably have already heard about this, and, I saw somebody posting in the chat, but it is true. Today, we just lost Lance Reddick. For those of you that don't know who he is or who he was the actor who played Silence and in the Horizon franchise. So he was the main antagonist of the actual series. Now, obviously, I don't want to spoil part 2, but he was the main antagonist for the Horizon series. But he also played, if I remember correctly, played Wesker in like that TV show version.
Yeah, the Resident Evil Netflix show, I think.
Right, he did that, and he was in Destiny as well.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
Vala. He was Vala.
Yeah.
Destiny.
I'm not like a massive Destiny fan, but is he what kind of character? I can't remember, like, quite frankly, because
he's a Titan class. I forgot the because I'm not super well versed in Destiny. I played it, but
is he a main character or just kind of like a supporting?
Like, he's one of the 3 he was one of the 3 pillars of like the classes and all that. For Destiny and stuff. So like you'll go to him for Vanguard bounties and strikes and all that stuff. So, but like from what people are saying, it's like a lot of people are logging into Destiny to pay respects.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was also on The Wire. That's right. He was on that
Fringe.
too. Yep.
Yeah, The Wire for sure. Yeah.
To everybody in the chat, man, listen, I want to just get this message across to y'all real quick. Y'all already know I got nothing but love, respect for everybody who comes through, just to hang out, chill, talk gaming, whatever the case may be. I want to say thank y'all, real talk, for everything you do for us on this panel. Y'all, those of you that support me, Hunter, everybody, we appreciate y'all. My advice, like my words here, I want to say in spite of this, this tragic news, is, spend as much time as you can with your family. Tell them every day how much you love them, your moms, your dads, everybody. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how much time you have on this planet. And I hope all of you, y'all take this to heart when you look at just how precious life is and how quick it can be over at a moment's notice. All right? I want all y'all to really value everybody around you. I want all of you guys to really go out there and just, if you haven't reached out to a certain person in your family, whether it be an uncle or, an aunt, reach out to them. See what I'm saying? Reach out to them. Tell them you love them. All that. We don't know how much time we have on this planet. And
good message, man.
Yeah. And with that being said, man, my condolences, obviously, to his family. My condolences, to just to everybody, man, for this. This is a tragic loss. It hurts. And I don't know what the future of Horizon is going to be. I don't know what the future holds. You know what I mean? I don't. But I don't want this whole, I don't want this tonight to be, all of us, like being super, broken or down. I want us to all be up, lifted. You know what I mean? I want us all to be happy at this particular time, and hopefully we all can come together for today. All right. So again, much love to y'all, much love to him. Everybody, you already know how it be. Let's definitely get into some topics, man. Let's lighten the mood up a bit here. Hopefully, so we just got some really, really positive news. This is honestly bringing back the Resident Evil 2 vibes, the remake vibes. And this is involving Resident Evil 4 Remake. The reviews are in. The game is sitting at like a 93 on Metacritic on PS5 and Xbox. On PC, I think it's at a 96. Was it 94, 96, something like that?
I think it was that.
I thought it was.
It's been changing throughout the day, but I think 94 last I checked.
Okay, so
it's I think it's I was reading that it's the third highest rated RE game ever.
Yep. So it's up there. But the game's gotten super well reception. Everybody's very, very excited for it. It looks great. It went down to a 93. Okay, it was a 94, no 93. Okay, but looking at the situation here, we might be looking at a another lightning in a bottle type of situation like we got with Resident Evil 2 Remake. You guys already know Resident Evil 2 Remake was a love letter to fans, and if you guys have been playing the actual demo for the Resident Evil 4 game, you already know that there are so many drastic changes to this game that they've taken. They've actually improved the combat tremendously. I love the fact that the knife is now, it serves a better purpose this time around, aside from just opening barrels and killing Krauser. They actually did a great job with this. All the cutscenes are better, or really just seamless. Looks great. Golly, even the new HUD menu, everything is fluid. I love what they did here. This is like really top tier. Now, Hunter, you actually beat the game already. You had it earlier, early before everybody. And first, I'm gonna ask you just to like kind of get everybody excited here. Now, the last time we saw review codes go out this fast was God of War. God of War, you guys had it like 2 weeks early before release.
Some people had it even like 3 weeks early.
Yeah.
So, I was so shocked, man. Like because I thought that the code for this game would come out like maybe a week before. But no, it was, I have to go back and check the date, but it was like, I think over 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. Like I've had it most of the month.
Yep.
And yeah, man, it's funny because I'm just finishing up my written review, but I just posted a few thoughts on Twitter, and of course, everyone's like going crazy about like either way. You got fans that are like, yeah, man, this is so good, and there's other people that are like, no, that's not. It's a remake. Like you can't be calling a remake a perfect 10 out of 10. You can't be calling a remake a Game of the Year contender. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, like you were talking with Lance Reddick and like spending more time with family and just like focusing on yourself. Like,
Mhm.
I used to like get into the weeds of like people's opinions on Twitter, and now it just slides right off my back, and I'm like, I don't care,
Yeah,
man.
why
Like
even entertain
I
it?
think
Yeah.
yeah, the game is like immeasurably good. Like it's the best part about this remake is that I think it's better than the original in virtually every way. But it doesn't supplant the original. It doesn't replace the original.
Yeah.
The original is always going to go down as an all-time classic. I just replayed the original last summer, and the game still holds up. But basically, they've improved on everything, but they've changed it so much. Like
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see the comments of folks when they realize how this story has changed, how boss battles are different,
Yeah.
how dialogue has changed, how characters interact with each other changes, how characters that follow you in certain spots are different than in the original game. Like
Mhm.
the changes with Ashley, like it's such an amazing game, and it's so different. It feels the same, but like totally different. I don't know if I've ever really experienced a game like this before. It's totally different than like say Dead Space, right? Where the Dead Space remake, I went back and I played the original, and it's one of those things where it's like the remake is just so much better. I don't really have a big desire to ever go back to the original because the remake is just a very faithful remake that just improves everything.
Yeah.
But this RE4 remake is totally different. I will probably want to replay like both those games forever and ever
I
just
mean,
because they're
I got that
yeah.
with the scenes with Lewis. Remember how Lewis was kind of like in and out in the original? Like he was only there for like the first the house fight when you guys are barricaded in, and then he was there
Yeah.
again where he's going for the antidote and he gets killed by
Yeah.
Sadler. So here I saw that he was in more, and I was like, okay, so they definitely remixed
He's
this. Yeah, he remixed this
oh
whole thing.
he's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. The embargo had like so many strict things, so it's not. I gotta be careful about what I can say
Yeah.
and what I can't. But
Oh,
like,
okay.
I think people were already tweeting about how he like helps you out a lot more and is in more scenes. But yeah, he is like he's so awesome and so different and incredibly helpful.
Mm.
He like like how he helps you in the house and he barricade the house in the original game,
Yep. Those your
right?
ammo. Yeah.
Yeah, it throws you ammo. I mean, like there's more of him in this remake. That's all I'll say. Like there's more of him, and he's even more helpful, and he's just funny too. He'll he'll shoot he'll shoot the enemies and set you up to do a suplex or do a roundhouse kick.
Oh, that's good.
Uh,
That's cool.
and he'll make comments when you do things like that when you finish off the enemies that he started. Yeah, and it's just generally useful. Like
Okay.
he'll like you'll be attacked by 4 or 5 enemies and he'll take down 2 of them
Okay.
versus like other games where they shoot but they don't really do a lot of damage. He does a lot
Mm.
of damage. Yeah,
All
I was
right.
gonna
so good.
ask, like, do you consider this game a bit more horror based than the original, or do you think like it's about similar in terms of like tone and like atmosphere?
It's certainly got a much like darker vibe to it.
Okay.
Sorry. The first game was
More action. The original was more
I would
action.
I would call it like kind of like it was more
Also a little
action
bit
focused
campy too,
and
right?
camp
Like,
and yeah, you guys took the words out of my mouth. Action and campy is how I describe the original RE4. This one
Yeah.
is like a much darker and
Consistent.
much more. Oh yeah, I mean
More
the whole
consistent.
thing takes place over one night, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Everything you don't get to the next morning. Everything's at night. Everything is dark. Everything is creepy. Like they're like shadows and lighting play huge in this game, versus the original where everything was in daylight and didn't matter as much. But the only one thing that I wish, and I'm actually I think I'm most excited for people who have never played the original RE4, if there's people that actually exist that haven't played the original, because I thought it was definitely creepier and scarier than the original for sure. But it didn't creep the heck out of me, and that was mostly just because I kind of knew what was coming up.
Yeah.
Right? Like
we were spoiled ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing about the remake is that even though this is actually like what I find like super exciting about it, is you know what's coming up. So I was a little bit less scared because I know that, you know, the exact enemy that's going to be coming up in the next scene.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that the scene plays out completely different.
Yeah.
So I don't like, I'll be like in a certain spot and I'll be like, oh, okay, like this enemy was going to be like, you know, coming out of that door or coming through that wall or whatever. And like you get to that spot and nothing happens. And you're like, but I can hear, like, I can hear the enemy. Like, where are they?
Yeah.
Like, are they in this other room? Or like, that's the cool part though. It's like, and when you see how it plays out, like almost every time it's a cool spin on the boss, but it's also like a bit shocking too, because you're just like, oh shoot, now's the boss. Like,
yeah,
like I gotta fight them in this area, which is a completely different battle arena than in the first game.
I'm super hyped for the Krauser fight. I think a lot of us were just losing our minds when we saw the trailer for it. We saw the like, it's not a cutscene, you know, I'm talking like that whole crazy exchange. I'm more hyped for that because I thought Krauser was such a dope boss. Mine is you only get to fight him, like, ironically once as Leon, you know, during that final Coliseum like fight. But here it's like you actually get to fight him multiple times from what we see in the trailer. So I just can't wait, man. It looks fantastic. I'm glad the game's gotten its crazy reviews, and also shout out to Capcom. Capcom literally found their essence. You know, they're
doing two things, right? Like, going from the remakes to also creating new entries within Resident Evil, which I think is a nice balance, right? Because I would assume their next game would be Resident Evil 9, right? And then maybe potentially going into another remake, which I know everyone's begging.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I said that multiple times. I think
gonna do 5.
Capcom said this too, like that I'm pretty sure they make a statement or internal like statement that they have no plans for Code Veronica. I think like I said, they're doing 5, I'm pretty sure, and then 6. Like I feel like I said this multiple times. It's gonna be literally a reboot. I 6.
mean, I hated, you know, honestly, I hated 5 for a multitude of reasons. Most because of the buddy system. I thought it was kind of terrible, but also the goofiness, like him punching the boulder when he going against out like Wesker.
I think they'll make it more tasteful, I guess, because there are a lot of complaints with RE5, and if they go and do that, they gotta like do a lot. And then 6, like I said, I don't even think it's gonna be the same story or anything. It's gonna be a very different game than what originally happened, because what I feel like they're doing is like since RE1 and all the way to now 4, they're trying to kind of like bridge this new timeline connecting with 7 essentially, right? That's what I feel like is what they're trying to do.
I think that was that too. You had that, and then you have because they redid, from what we saw in the demo, I'm not spoiling anything if you played the demo, but from what we've seen in the opening of the demo, there's more context to scenes versus how it was on the PS4, you know, or PS2 back then, where they just did it through dialogue, you know, him speaking, narrating. They actually added more scenes. So I can see them really just going all out with like how Chris is introduced in 5. So it might work. Like I got a little faith in them.
If it's this team,
if they're doing it right, I have a little faith. What was you about to say, Otter?
Oh, I was just gonna agree with Red. Like the next game for sure is gonna be RE5 remake. It won't be Code Veronica. I think it'll be RE9 in like a year or two, and then probably 5 in like another year or two after that. But it's pretty cool. I think you can see some narrative threads between RE2 and RE4. So I think it is kind of cool that it is this new universe, and and you know,
Hard to
and I
reset.
can't, yeah, and I can't, and they like they already sort of laid the foundation, I think, in RE4 to potentially take things in different directions. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just like I'm excited. I know that 5 and 6 are traditionally like you know the most panned RE games out there, but
It's mostly 6
Whole-
with that terrible camera.
yeah, especially 6. Yeah,
Well, 6 was
But
like basically like I think it was like Leon, like everything was QTEs, like
Yeah.
especially in the beginning or something like that. I was like,
Yeah.
geez, this is a little too much. Like everything, it's like kind of like a Quantic Dream game, but Resident Evil.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go because I mean the like RE2 was a fairly faithful remake, and RE4. I mean, there's certainly a lot of canon changes that happen, but like overall, it's still fairly faithful to the original. But yeah, I think for RE5 and RE6, like they should you know deviate from those games. Like they should make some more drastic changes on those ones to make it more in line.
Yeah.
Whether they got the guts to do that, I don't know. I hope so.
So obviously, Joe, you guys are all in with 5. I don't know how 9's gonna like fall into this. I don't know when they're gonna do it. It could.
Well,
be
I don't know. Like
right
we
after.
could kind of go into it. Like
Mhm.
basically, the whole Winter family dynamic is basically done. After the Roses DLC, it's basically
Yeah.
Did they
Well-
finish it with her with the DLC of his daughter? Did they confirm that was the end?
I
Or
Well,
was
she
that
gets
introduction?
into the van at the end, and so like
yeah.
her story's
Well,
not
and then
done.
no one knows, you know, whether or not that person at the end was, you know, whoever people think it is. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. But it just feels like they might just go with a new protagonist. I don't know if they'll go back with Chris or Leon. I feel like Chris is getting old, dude. If they especially go right after Rose, right? She's like what 17, 16, or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
18. Chris, I think, is like
In his
maybe in his
50s,
50s or
or
60s.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
think they might have to do no new protagonist if they go with that timeline.
I mean, hell, he looked like he was 40 when she was when she was an infant. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless she
That's what I'm
has
saying. Unless
accelerated
people
aging.
want old Chris.
Accelerated.
As long as they
aging.
show his face, man, that's all I care about.
Oh, you didn't like the
want
first
another-
person? You didn't like the first person aspect of?
I don't mind the first person. I just it annoys me that they never show his face, even in the third person mode. You can't see.
I
his face.
think
Yeah.
they if you what is it like modding or like going into the game files, like you'll see his face in 7.
Oh,
I think.
they actually made a face model for him.
Yeah, I think they did. Like you can search it, like Ethan Winters
Interesting,
face
okay.
model RE7. It's nothing like amazing or anything. It's
Well, I'm-
very much like an ordinary guy. What he looks like.
Yeah, I would have actually been fine with him, like with them not showing his face, even up until like maybe partway through 8.
Hmm.
But like the part that annoys me is like I've never actually heard a good rationale for it. Like I know they say that sometimes like you know in first person like you know you could. If there's no face, then you can kind of like become the protagonist. And
It's weird, but they also gave Rose a face and everything, like third person and everything with her DLC.
Yeah.
So it's like
if there was
interesting.
if there was a narrative, a canon reason why, that would have sit better with me. But the way it is right now, where it's like they just didn't give him a face for like unknown reasons.
Mhm.
Like,
It's just annoying. Like it's,
God. What's going on here? So, before we get into the other topics here, Last of Us TV show.
Mhm.
It's over, pretty much.
Yeah.
Want to go both of you guys back and forth here. Well, really, just ask you guys overall, like, how'd you think they did with the TV show? Is this the perfect? I obviously it's not 1-on-1, you know, recreation.
Yeah, it's not 1-to-1.
Except for like the first episode and maybe episode.
I would say overall, like the story follows majority, like I don't know, like 80%, 70 to 80% of the story beats, right?
Mhm.
Right. But like you could definitely tell, like they definitely didn't have the budget,
Mhm.
like to have all these infected throughout the show. And they said, oh yeah, like a lot of people misconstrued
Yeah.
a lot of the things, like, oh, it's bigger than Game of Thrones. Everyone was thinking, oh, so it's like House of the Dragon budget then.
It's like,
It's
no.
like, no.
No.
They said bigger than season 1 of Game of Thrones. Go back to watch season 1 of Game of Thrones, and then go watch House of the Dragon. The differences are like crazy in terms of the budget. But they
were
definitely
they comparing budgets, or was it because I think audience size is bigger than the original season of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, no, like people were talking about the budget. Like people were thinking, oh, bigger than Game of Thrones, therefore it's like equivalent to House of the Dragon or something like that.
Well, they
It's
could
like,
afford
no,
giraffes.
Yeah, so season one.
I'm sure they were pretty expensive.
Yeah, no, I think so. But like overall, like I thought it was, solid. Like I personally, I gave it an 8. I had some issues with it, but like overall,
yeah,
I enjoyed it. But like you could definitely tell that the budget wasn't like to that like level of like House of the Dragon or something. But they're trying to like rectify that with season 2 because their viewership, like average each episode, was bigger than House of the Dragon. So they're definitely gonna get a way bigger budget. And I was shocked. I was shocked that like literally this show had more average viewers than House of the Dragon. To me, it's like crazy because personally, I think House of the Dragon is a way better show.
That's insane.
And
I would love to like at some point if they actually can kind of figure out like how many of these people that watched it did they actually actually played the game. Like I'm so curious to find out, like, is it because we're talking like 8, 10, 12 million people watching these episodes, like is it majority gamers or non-gamers? Like I think this is like I'm gonna assume that probably at least half or more are probably not gamers and people that are watching this for the first time. And if my assumption is correct, then Sony has jumped onto the magical blueprint for like, and just imagine if they can replicate that success with God of War and Twisted Metal and like other things that they're doing. It's
God of War, I can see
incredible
potentially, maybe if you do it right. Twisted Metal, maybe. Gran Turismo, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, even Uncharted, like it performed pretty well at the box office.
Yeah.
Even though the movie wasn't, was certainly not as good as The Last of Us
TV
series.
It was the casting. Like all I see is Spider-Man doing this crazy stuff. I don't see Nathan Drake.
It's just like the attitude. Like Tom Holland very much felt like he was playing Tom Holland,
exactly,
playing Spider-Man, and then Mark Wahlberg felt like he was playing Mark Wahlberg. So it was just like the casting choices just weren't really good. But like I said, there's an audience for it. Personally, not for me for Uncharted, but some people liked them. Some gamers did like it.
I thought was like what was really cool to see though is like I guess you guys saw that the Last of Us, like almost like every version of The Last of Us jumped back up onto the sales charts again, right? The Last of Us Part 1 what like back in the top 10 for PS5. The Last of Us remastered was back in the top list for PS4. Like that's like the dream, man. That's the virtuous cycle that they keep on talking about, right? Like, and I think I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, if you read between the lines, that's exactly what they're planning on doing with Bungie, and that's why they acquired Bungie, right? Like the whole point is Sony has Sony Music, Sony Pictures, like everything that can just they can get soundtracks out, they can get movies out, they can get TV shows out.
Right.
I think we're going to see an explosion of Destiny in the next like 2 or 3 years. They finally figured out the magic touch, right? So
I think they need to do like especially Destiny. I would not mind for PlayStation or like to go to either any animation studio, could be a Japanese animation studio, and make a actual like animated cartoon or anime of like an IP that they have, or even Destiny. I think that would serve well, especially even God of War. Honestly, I'd rather honestly have an animated God of War show than a live action show.
Have Judge do the voice again.
Just because like people brought it up in the chat, right? That it's how are they going to do a live action God of War show? And they're doing it in, the 2018 setting, the Norse setting, which I think they should have started with Greek first and then work their way up. But I would have rather have preferred an animated show because they could have done all these crazy things.
Yep.
And be animated. But now you're going to do live action, and that's going to require a lot of CGI. But it's his first season, so it being a pilot season, you're not going to have a huge budget like that unless it's on its second season and the numbers did really good.
You might see a few little troll things in there, but I don't expect the dragon kill. I don't expect nothing insane like that. Maybe the World Serpent would take up a good chunk.
Dude, I forgot even to say that's gonna be eating up all the budget, like the World Serpent too. How you gonna do all that? That's
how you gonna give
honestly animation would have been better.
So that's gonna be interesting how they do that. But honestly, I'm kind of on the side of Solar Rev on this. I enjoyed a good chunk. Like obviously the first episode and the last episode, I think were the best ones. Honestly, in my opinion. The first one was so good because it set the tension right out the gate. It gave you 28 days later type of vibes. You know what I mean? 0 to 60, the world just went to hell, and you're like, okay, I really dig this. Plus the Easter eggs and the similar scenes from the game. I was like, yo, that's dope. The burning cows, the stranded people, etc. Obviously, there's no hospital scene, but they're in the first episode.
Yeah.
But again, it was cool. I thought they did great there. When it got to the final episode, though, see, I noticed how Pedro Pascal, him playing Joel, he is not how do I put it? He's good as Joel, but there are certain scenes where he really nails it. You know what I mean? Where he really gives you that dark, gritty killer vibes that he had in the games. Remember how when he interrogates the guy, he stabs him in the leg, he's like, you lied to me, I'll pop your kneecap off. You know what I mean? That intensity.
Big Cloud, honestly, just say you would have rather preferred Rev to be Joel in the show. Just say it. Just say it. Say it to everybody in the chat.
Honestly, that would be a good casting. That'd be a good casting.
Oh God.
Shot the Rev. But no, it's stuff like that. I would have preferred the tone be consistent with him. Because Joel was let's face it, Joe's a dick to Ellie in the first game. For a good half the game, he's a dick to her.
I mean, that's the point.
He's a dick to her.
People will I know in this show, a lot of people were apprehensive on the whole Ellie's also kind of a dick in the show towards Joel in the beginning, and Joel as well. Yeah. And then they tried to throughout the show, they get closer together. Whereas Ellie in the game is very much more, I guess, friendly towards Joel and try to break the barriers.
Yeah. The other scene with the other episode, I thought they were kind of I get what they were doing, obviously with Bill, but I don't know. A lot of people were mixed on that particular episode.
I'm with BG though. If shout out to Mooch's show. Honestly, that episode definitely. Was to get
a few people,
to get I think it was definitely to get an Emmy nomination.
Oh yeah,
and win.
For sure.
They were, I think, literally aiming for that.
Yeah,
and, they might get it. Who knows? Honestly,
I mean, no.
Personally, I can understand everyone's frustration. Some people, it was a very divisive episode. Some people loved it, some people hated it.
Well, keep in mind though, the reason it's funny, the divisiveness, right? Because we're going into now season 2. Which is going to be the start of Last of Us 2. I guess, I don't know how, that's the thing. So it took, what was it, 9 episodes to tell the first game? 8 episodes?
Oh, they said it's going to be more than one season for part 2.
I'm just saying. So
is that confirmed? That's
I think Neil said that. I don't know if it was on a kind of funny podcast but it was it was supposed to be more than one season.
Okay.
So hopefully they there's the obviously natural cutoff point where you switch playable characters.
But I think they gotta do it in a right with all the divisiveness when it comes to that game. I think they have to structure that story way better than part 2 did.
Yeah.
Because I felt like part 2 had pacing issues, really bad pacing issues, and they gotta do it in a way that is makes sense and it's organic, because in the game it was very much you're going from Joel, and then from Joel it was to
Yeah.
Abby, or is it
Yeah.
Ellie, and then Abby again, and then
Yeah.
back to Ellie for a huge chunk,
That's
then
exactly how
back
it
to
felt.
Abby, and
Yeah.
then back to Ellie. It was
Yeah.
very much back and forth. And
That's
it was,
exactly how it felt, though. Instead of going from A to B, it felt like you went to A to D, then back to C, then back to E. You know, I feel like that's how it was. It was all over the place. Like, okay, this is weird pacing for that game. But if we're going into this, how many episodes you guys think it's going to take to tell Ellie's portion of part 2?
probably 10.
Probably
10?
probably similar to this.
I think they're gonna do it at 10. I think
You think they're going to
From
condense
HBO
all that into 10? That's a
I think
long
that's
story.
what they're gonna do. Either that, or I'm trying to think, but like, what HBO show has done more than 10, right? Like, I would have to look on like the catalog, right? But it
Did-
feels like HBO's always does the 10 mark, right?
Didn't Game of Thrones
as
have like a
Max.
season that was like 12
Yeah.
episodes? Something?
No,
No, there was
Game of
no
Thrones
No,
always been
they're
10.
usually you're right. Like AMC will sometimes do longer seasons, but
let me
HBO,
do The Wire. Let's see this. Because The Wire is also HBO. Okay, The Wire is 13 episodes.
So that seems
but
about
that
right.
was years ago, though, like a while ago.
I mean, it's a long game, though.
Yeah.
Last was part 2. It's a long game. Plus,
I mean,
we're-
they could try to do it in 13 for
Yeah.
each. Let's see
How-
True Detective.
What I'm just trying to think from an hour's perspective, like how long? Because I think The Last of Us part 2 was like that was like what, like 20 hours ish.
More than
and that-
20. Like per
20
character? Like per character, it was more than 20.
Maybe it was like 25 or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Like
So,
20, yeah. Like
Also,
25.
The Sopranos, very older show too. That was also 13 episodes. The first season, the second season.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility it could hit the 13 episode mark for both seasons
Yeah.
potentially.
I think it'll probably like certainly be higher because I assume that you know this. Well, we already know that the budget was lower for season 1, so I kind of feel like at this point that HBO would be almost willing to write a blank check.
Oh yeah, because of
to
that
Neil?
viewership.
Yeah, like exactly, like for sure, it's like it's their number 1 property that they have right now, right? So I think he'll probably get whatever Neil Druckmann asked for.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can. Yeah, I
Um,
could see him.
Now the question is though, since obviously they have to go bigger and bolder with the the season, we didn't really see that many infected, obviously in Last of Us Part 1 or this season, but season 2. Do you guys expect to see like that crazy opening where it was like that 28 days later vibe, all those infected running at
Haven't they
Abby?
already said? Yeah,
Yeah, they said
they
like,
already said season 2 is going to have way more.
Oh, it's got
infected,
way
I think.
more. Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the
it
thing
was
is, a lot of their budget, like people don't realize, and BG brought up a good point, very similar to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones,
Recreating
like the
world.
sets,
Yeah.
the sets, they literally build the sets.
Okay.
So the same thing with Last of Us, like the when they were at the Tommy's
stadium.
community,
Yeah, the
T-
stadium, the
Tommy's community.
Yeah.
So they literally built all that from scratch. So
Okay.
that's also stuff that of course they had like the CGI stuff when it came to like Boston and stuff, because you can't do that from the ground.
Yeah.
So that's impossible. But they definitely built a lot of stuff from scratch. So they're gonna probably do the same with this, but of course they're gonna have a bigger budget. So I think you're gonna have like plus the Rat King, right? That's gonna be
Yeah, I don't
quite.
That's interesting. I
quite
don't
a
know how
bit.
they're going to do that. They might not show the Rat King until the end of
No,
season.
that's season probably
3.
mid season 3 or
That's season 3.
because the thing is you got the epilogue too. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
So it could be near maybe mid season 3
Okay.
because they might condense Abby for a bit, and I wouldn't be shocked.
It's a lot to condense though for an hour. Like what? Each episode was like an hour on this season.
Well, it depends. Like some were like 40 minutes, some were 50, some were over an hour, but
So-
mostly it was around 40-ish or
Yeah.
low 50s minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a lot of okay. Interesting how they gonna do it. I don't expect the aquarium to be in here.
No,
Yeah,
I expect
yeah.
the
No,
aquarium.
you did
I
agree.
expect
yeah.
that.
What about the
stadium.
the Pornhub scene?
Dude. Yeah, I think that scene will be in there.
I think it'll be in there.
Oh God.
But the thing is, it's gonna be a different act. Like I said, like a lot of people, I think Big Cloud's like, oh, they're gonna get a person that works out a lot and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't think so. I really don't.
About that. So I remember I mentioned Colleen Foch, who was the actual body double for the game. She's awesome. Shout out to Colleen Foch. But obviously, they're not gonna make her as jacked as Colleen Foch for this game.
Well, the thing is, they're gonna go for an actress, like in terms of acting quality.
You know
that's first and foremost, and a lot of people are not going to.
Yeah, I'm saying like I seen the woman that they're considering for the role. I don't know if you've seen her, Hunter, but she looks damn near like her in the face.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that was that officially considered. I don't know, but yeah, she
was being rumored, like being brought into a conversation about it. But she looks just like it. So what I'm thinking when they're gonna do for this is probably instead of her being a bodybuilder like woman, they're just gonna have her be like a track star.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more slim. Like they're gonna, of course, ask her to work out a little bit, but you're not gonna get Abby from. Bro, she was on gear. Let's be honest. She was on gear when it came to Last of Us Part 2. You gotta tell me differently.
What's wild about it? They like if you've seen Colleen Foch is pretty like jacked like in general, but she's not that big. Compared to the game, they added even more muscle mass.
I was like, she's on gear, man. Abby found a stash of gear.
She was on Terminator.
Besides eating a lot of food, somehow like that's some of the things that breaks me out of the immersion. Of course, it's a video game and all that, but they try to make it more grounded. And they're like, listen, that amount of muscle mass. Like it's like not possible. You need gear and you need a lot of food and protein.
A lot of protein. She was eating burritos for God's sakes. You don't get that.
Yeah, small burritos, bro. She ate no protein powder, nothing, man. You think they're making protein powder out there? No.
Like guys, she ate that whole burrito in 3 bites. She is not getting that jacked after eating burritos.
Dude, all I'm gonna say is whoever they end up going with, like.
She's gonna get hate, bro. Like I know.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care who
remember
Game of
Thrones?
We got a like defender, Joffrey? Man. Because I can't. You guys probably saw, but the voice actor of Abby like tweeted a couple weeks ago about how she's still getting death threats and
Laura, like bro, like that's some of those things like people gotta.
She's still getting it, man.
Because Laura, from what I gather, is like one of the nicest people in like the voice acting like world. Like from what I gather, and it's crazy. It's like she took a role like a lot of people didn't like it, but you don't gotta go giving death threats about it. I think that's just uncalled for.
Yeah.
Like if you have problems with the story, just say, hey Neil, I didn't like your story, but like don't go going after the voice.
Well, that's like that's the lowest of the low, man. To like, voice actors are just like any of us, man. They got families, they got friends, they got loved ones to take care of, they got sicknesses, they gotta mend. Like they're just like us, man, and they need jobs. Like it just comes down. It's like if you end up taking a like, I mean, I think the same thing probably happened with Forespoken, right? Where where people have been going after the actor, even though like. She's tweeted like a bunch of times about how this is the greatest thing for her, and there was that video of her crying and stuff like that. It's like, go after the people that maybe wrote that. Like, don't go after anyone. Is my
but
advice.
just say, hey, like if Adam is like, hey, I don't like the story.
Like send your comments to the people that actually created all this, like the people that are acting in these roles. Like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think the hate for the game at that time would have been as bad if the game didn't get leaked that bad early. You know what I mean?
Totally, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it gave them months of ammo, man.
Exactly.
It gave them months and months of ammo to totally trash it, and
yeah.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention
that, like when Red Hood was, because I rated Red Hood stream. Remember we was playing it,
dude. When the one probably the best part about them making the season 2 of The Last of Us is I truly do think that once this comes out, especially like once we see, I guess it'll be like 2 seasons long. Once we get the end of season 3, like I'm pretty sure a lot more people than today are going to recognize like how amazing that game is, how awesome the story is. Like it's not going to get like the haters are going to get shoved down and their voices are going to get diminished because I agree with you, Big Cloud. It's unfortunately the leaks tanked that game a bit before launch.
Oh, dude, the pre-orders was getting canceled left and right. Neil had to go in and say, what did he say? I think he said, guys, yeah, I know it might sound blah, blah, blah on paper, but when you experience it, it's a different thing. And I was like, I don't think that's the right, wording for this. I think
it definitely, like you mentioned, it stirred a lot of emotions for people. And when it sat for a while before the game, like, it was a... So, but like overall, I mean, like I said, there were issues with the story, regardless of
when I was
creative decision.
When I was streaming, and I'll never forget this, when I was streaming that game, some people in the chat were saying, "Yo, Big Cloud, you're gonna be blown away by the scene." And it was the infamous, what scene? That scene. I was like, they knew about it before it was about to happen. I was sitting, what am I about to say? I'm like, oh God, we about to do this? Oh no. This happens.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to mention something because Thanos mentioned it. I was going to mention it. I was about to. But like the same thing kind of similarly happened was the guy who played Joffrey in Game of Thrones. He did it so good. He was so good as Joffrey.
Yes.
That man got a bunch of death threats for playing Joffrey. I'm like, yo, what? He's just playing a role.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he got a lot of death threats.
A lot of death threats
for being such a
badass villain,
an able in the
people can.
I think, like this, man,
they hated him so much. Like he played that role so well. They hated him.
Yeah,
much.
I actually like can understand on a certain level, like because he he was the one of the worst, if not the worst character in the series, like. And he offed a lot of really awesome people people were so I get it, but like I don't know, the fact that people can't, it's like some people, I'm sure like a small number of people can't separate fiction from reality is like it's sick. It's sick. Like it's just like I agree with you guys. Like he was like, I hated him, but he was a great actor. Like he played that so well.
You know what's funny? If you enter Game of Thrones, you just put Joffrey right now on YouTube, you'll probably see a whole bunch of reactions to the death scene because that's literally how well he played that damn character.
This is the first I've heard about this. Like I'm baffled that the like Joffrey of all characters, he was such a good actor. Like,
oh yeah,
yep.
He kind of retired after that, basically after the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, maybe because he could. With all the,
with all the money he got, dude, he's like,
dude. That dude was married and living the good life. Shout out to him, man. He's a great, phenomenal actor. I ain't lying though. Even though I say this, I was sitting there laughing. Like I was sitting there going, during that wedding scene, I was sitting there going, nah, you piece of shit. I just hate you. And he coughed once. I was like, yeah, okay, I hope you choke. And he starts coughing again. I was like, wait. What happened? Is he good? So
That's
good.
Crazy,
Such a good show. Shout out to him. And another good example is Dr. Cross brought up. Y'all remember the thing with Alana when God of War got delayed?
Oh yeah,
she got harassed about that.
Yeah.
Oh, hasn't she been harassed for like dozens of things at this point? Like
yeah.
Multiple things.
I see her tweeting like every month now about how like none of this matters to her anymore, and
Yep.
It's so sad, man. Like what a sad thing that has to happen to people in the spotlight, man. Where it's like you're just so used to it, you just become numb.
Yep.
That's your only defense to it is just to become numb to it.
Yep, that's true. Another quick little news here. Obviously, you would miss this if you did not have a social media on Twitter. I don't even know if Hunter noticed this, but yeah, I remember Frostgren. She deleted her Frosk from.
I forgot.
She deleted everything. She's gone. She's officially gone. She deleted everything. She disappeared. So I just want to. She's gone. She deleted everything.
Deleted Twitter. That's
because she had left the gaming industry.
Yeah. Now she just left social media.
She's gone. Yeah, that whole Twitter is gone. Everybody was showing it off. I was thinking, wait, what?
I mean,
wow. So shout out, she's gone for that. Good news. Let's get to these. Oh, before I get to this next topic, shout out to Hustle and Motivate being a channel member for 13 months. Hey guys, make sure you guys show some love to Hustle and Motivate, man. It's a real solid dude, man. He always shows love to the community. In fact, give me 1 second. Let me.
got some super chats here too.
Yeah, about to read those. And put that in the chat. Boom. That's Hustle and Motivate. But you guys go subscribe. Show us some love, man. Appreciate you, Hustle.
Really good dude.
13 months as a channel member, man. Much love, brother.
Does a lot for a lot of people in the community, so check him out.
Absolutely.
I think he's gonna try to do something soon. I don't know, but like he's also on Twitter too, so check him out there as well.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Delta169, shout out to Delta, $5 super chat. Says, what's your thoughts on the lackluster sales of Forespoken, especially when the budget is supposedly 100 million? Glad to see RGT back on bit. Yeah, it's good to be back.
100 million.
The budget for that game. So
That's shocking.
I didn't think that either, honestly. I've seen games look better at 100 million. That's where it's like, okay. But Forspoken's lackluster sales, I mean,
history repeats itself. That's what I have to say, because a lot of people don't realize. I think Alana had an interview with Gary Whitta.
Yeah.
So you know, like how, like, for whatever reason, Square Illuminous was trying to associate Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, originally he was contracted for the story and world building, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Gary admits, like, they didn't use anything but the word Athia. Then they contracted Amy Hennig, and she had a treatment plan for it. Didn't use any of it. Then they literally just got like these, I think, TV writers or something like that, and then it happened. Kind of very similar to Final Fantasy 15 with Versus 13, that they had a story there, they didn't use it. They changed this to a monstrosity from the Morris story treatment in Versus 13, and honestly, a lot of people don't realize, but after 15 happened, a lot of senior staff left Luminous. So
yeah,
that also happened before Forespoken, because I think it was in pre-production when it happened. And then I'm trying to think of other things. Then like the interviews barely happened for the game. Very similar, like very not similar to, like, Square wasn't very confident in the game, because you'll see like what happened this month with Final Fantasy 16 with a huge info dump and all the gameplay and boss like demonstrations happening, and then they're gonna have a huge info dump in April.
Yeah.
Like, they show confidence in Yoshi P's team, which, like, as they should. Yoshi P is a genius. This man understands what people want. Like, that's how he saved them. Honestly, he's the studio, him and his team at Creative Business Unit 3 are honestly carrying Square on their backs with the amount of money that they generate for Final Fantasy 14. And now they got shuttered, and now all that talent that was left in Luminous are either going to be a support studio, or they're going to just be placed within CBU 1, CBU 3, Dragon Quest team, or the Kingdom Hearts team at the end of the day, because they couldn't do it. Square couldn't market the game, which, like, it wasn't for gamers. I know a lot of people said it's gamers' fault for not supporting the game. It's honestly Luminous for not making a good enough product for gamers wanting to buy it, and for Square not being able to be confident with said product or market that game out correctly. So it's like, and also being $70 and a brand new IP is very hard. It's on sale now.
Right now, 35% off for both the standard and digital deluxe versions, or deluxe versions. That's
so it's very much like they were lackluster. I mean, like, there's no two ways about it. And it's like, if you love the game, you love the game. But I say also, don't force people to like something.
Yeah.
That, like, you're not going, like, a lot of people just don't like.
What was that video that was going around? I don't know if Hunter saw it either, but like it was a bunch of like collector's editions or just like cases.
Oh no, limited steelbook cases that were thrown out.
Did you see it? Like they were like thrown in the trash or something.
Yeah.
You know, is it?
No, I didn't. What was it? Where was like Square trash these, or like
no, it was I think some like video game store that had it, like, because it wasn't being sold well or something like that.
I mean,
it seems weird that they would, like, they could, if they bought it, they could just mark it down to like $20 or something. Probably a smarter idea than trashing it, but
oh, here's a screenshot of it. I'll put it in the chat.
I think I did see it in my feed, but I didn't watch the whole video, so I didn't really know the whole context.
There's a screenshot of the screen.
Oh, it's at GameStop. There you go.
There was a video.
Where is this, on the floor?
This
I can't really.
that's the trash.
It looks like it's outside because
that's
there's
it.
rain droplets or something like that on it.
Oh, I see. This is like a trash bin outside.
Yeah. So it's like a whole bunch of. I could have sworn it was
Okay.
a video. It was like a video for it. It was weird. Oh well, can't find it.
I
But,
think they have a game within 16 that will kind of rebound them back, though.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy is gonna make up for what Forespoken
Like, I
just
think
did.
critically, like, the reception's going to be overwhelmingly positive. Like, you saw the buzz going for 16 in terms of skill up, you know, like, heavily, like,
Yeah, a lot of
praising
people-
it and all that.
Yeah, a lot of people have this misconception. They think Square is like done because of Forespoken. No, this is like one of those things where like you shoot and you miss. They just missed with Forespoken. That's all. What
Well,
they got,
well,
you know.
that
Go.
I was going to say
too
for
is like if
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Hunter. I was going to say just like there are some problems within Square, but they also have big positives as well, right?
Yeah.
I would say like a lot of the times though, like their release window schedules aren't good, right? Because I mentioned this multiple times where they had Diofield Chronicle, Valkyrie Elysium, Tactic Ogre Reborn, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, and I might be missing another game, but it was in a time span of 3 months, like back to back to back, and it's like a lot of those games did not do well sales wise, and some of them didn't do well critically as well. And I'm just like, they need to stop placing these games so close to each other and they just cannibalize themselves. It's like Square, and I use the analogy, they get a blindfold, they have a calendar, and they have a dart, and then they just throw it, and then that's where they put it, and it's all near each other. So it's just like the good ones, I guess, last year, which Delta is mentioning, it was Octopath and Triangle Strategy. Well, Octopath this year, and then Triangle Strategy last year.
Yep.
And
yeah, but even unfortunately, like I guess like early reports are like, I know that like Famitsu had their sales reports, but looks like Octopath is not doing well.
Wow.
Which, like, say critically, yes, of course, everyone loves it, but sales wise, it's very bad from what I've seen. So I don't know. It's like they gotta know their audience better. like, I don't know. The thing is, like, they're releasing a bunch of games that should be obvious that you need to put more attention. Like Valkyrie Elysium last year, I played it. It's pretty average, right? And it seems like it's pretty obvious. Like, you play even like, you know, the first hour and you can tell it's a pretty average game. Like, I don't know. It's just so weird that I think probably at some point with Square Enix, like they, you know, quality isn't at where it's needed, but they've got too many sunk costs in the game, and they're just like, you know, pump it out. Like, we, you know, it's not, we need to make at least a little bit of money.
Yep.
But what I was going to say earlier that I mean, the people that always say like the doomsday scenarios are like the ones you got to ignore, because like when you look at the actual financials of Square Enix, they're still profitable. Like they're still pretty profitable, I would say, overall, but their profitability has dropped a bit in the last year, so they're certainly not trending the way that they should be, but they're still making, you know, bank. Forespoken is you know, they're gonna be in the red for that particular game, but overall they're still gonna be profitable. So I don't, like, nobody has to worry, and especially with Final Fantasy 16 coming up, which is gonna dramatically increase the revenue, and then we've got the Final Fantasy 7 remake that's obviously also going to make a lot of money as well. So there's no reason to be concerned. It's I think financially they're fine. It's more of like what Reddy you're saying, like, you know, they gotta plan their games better. They gotta, you know, pause games that have poor quality and you know, rework them so they have higher quality.
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest thing for Square Enix, I think Reddy mentioned as well, it's just the marketing. Like, their marketing is just so off sometimes. Like,
I agree with that, because like it feels like unless you're not a Nomura or Yoshi P, like you won't get that level of marketing, because I think they should, like, even at Octopath, get journalists or YouTube influencers and play their game and talk about it, because Yoshi P, like, he's able to do that. He's like, yeah, come in, show you a demo, give you guys a presentation, explain what this game is, our plans for it, and what we're trying to, establish here, and what we're trying to do for the genre and all this stuff. And it's like, and they're also doing that for April, and then they're going to be putting out a demo 2 weeks before the game launches to keep going with the hype. And it feels like Yoshi P knows how to market his games. And also he even made jokes. It's like, yeah, dude, I know there's another producer named Yoshida on Final Fantasy 14. I got to talk with him to promote our game within Final Fantasy 14. It's like, I thought that's funny, a little joke there, because he's the director and producer of 14 as well. So it's like stuff like that makes like sense and genius moves. But like,
yeah,
all their other games, the Square got to do better. Absolutely.
Well, like a classic example that I just stumbled upon in the last week or so is, I check out like Metacritic like every now and again, and I just noticed that they had reviews up for Paranormal Site, which is the Square Enix game that released, I think it was like March the 9th or whatnot. But anyways, like when I saw that game, I saw that this on like the upcoming, like hot and upcoming games, and I think it had to, like, it was going to release in a week or something. I had totally forgotten about this game. Like, I think this was in like a Nintendo Direct. It also came out on PC, I think, as well. But yeah, it was like, this is what happens with Square Enix. Like, I completely forgot about this, and they're one of the biggest publishers out there, and the fact that they have games that release that are so under the radar. Like, anyone in the chat, like, does anyone even know what Paranormal Site is? Like, probably a lot of people are like Googling right now, what is this game? But like, seriously, they just released a game like a week ago.
Paranormal. Oh man.
Do you guys know?
Nah, dude.
That's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying though. Dude, it came out on Nintendo Switch, PC. It's like, I think it's just marketing, man. It's marketing. Like, how does these games kind of, like, because even Red, you're talking about like trying to list all the games that released last fall. I'm positive if we go back, there's like one or two, and it's like, I can't even remember them all either. They release so many games that have so little marketing that you barely have a chance to even know what the titles are.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, like, Harvestella was another one last year in November too. Like, I think it was November.
That was one that I was thinking about, and yeah,
I was like that also didn't do that well either from critically either. Yeah, if I recall. So it's like, they got to do better, and it's just like, I'm a bit worried about their future a little bit, because like, if you guys like read that, I think his name is Matsuda, is stepping down from president, and then they're getting a guy named Kiru.
But
his last, or his first name or last
positive?
Because no, well, the thing is, his background is about meta though. So like all the meta, like NFT stuff, like supposedly he has a background in that. And that could potentially not be so good. And maybe, like, honestly, maybe the current president, or he's still current, I think. Masuda, like, I feel like was very much against it, but the people on the board were trying to force.
He was the guy that always in his
he does, of course. You know what I mean? Like, if you were, let's say, like, president of the company, I'm in the boardroom, like, Hunter, we need NFT games, and you're like, I don't really want to put out a letter now. And he's like, damn it. All right.
Because I was scared, because like almost his entire letter. Yeah. Like for like 2 or 3 years in a row. Like, I remember it just kept on happening. Like, 80% of your letter is NFT and metaverse.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think it's very much the boardroom telling him. And now that dude, the new one, feels like he might go that route. I think there's that game with the NFT Sembai Genesis. I don't know, but that's supposed to be literally NFTs.
I hope I read this wrong, but I saw somebody tweet saying that I think it's like 3 people can play the final level of this game.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you need to buy or like earn an NFT that allows you entry into the final level of the game, and apparently like everyone else can spectate. I don't know if they're gonna. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's maybe I've got a metaverse or something or Twitch.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah.
also like they gotta like this new president also cannot mess up their talent either, and forcing it upon their talent. If you're telling Yoshi P to like put some NFTs in Final Fantasy 14, you know what's gonna happen? He's gonna leave. The same thing with Kingdom Hearts, Nomura. They will leave, and that's not gonna be a good look whatsoever, like at all. So like they gotta treat their talent like Yoshi P like he's on top of the world, because Yoshi P honestly is up there for me with Kojima and Nomura and all that in terms of top, development team and studio and leader. But like Hunter, would ask though, were you shocked though, like in terms of like Luminous getting shuttered and like the sales not being that good?
The sales not being that good. I think to me, I was not okay. I was not surprised. I guess if I go back before I saw some of the sales charts, I would have assumed that the game would have sold very poorly, just because it was a divisive game, and even I who ended up maybe end up enjoying it, but anyone who played the demo would not, I think, be all that interested in the game. So I guess I wasn't all that surprised. But then I know the game, like in most sales charts for the week or two following its release, the game was making it into the top 10. So I thought it was going to sell decently. Not like, not millions and millions of copies, but sell decently. But when I heard that the budget was 100 million, like I knew then that this game was a stinker and a huge red mark on their financials, because there's just no way it's going to get anywhere close to, because that I guess I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I am assuming that is just the dev cost. And this game was actually like one of the heavily marketed games for Square Enix the last couple of years, with all the Sony state of plays and all that stuff, right? So marketing must have been a huge cost for them.
It feels like PlayStation is like very much like frontline and center with the marketing, like pushing that game. But like you could tell the difference from the marketing from Forespoken though, and then compared to 16, where it's like, I feel like it's a night and day difference basically.
Yeah, totally. I think like it's pretty obvious that Forespoken as an IP is going nowhere. I highly doubt we'll ever see Afia or Forespoken ever again. But yeah, no, I guess I wasn't like too surprised about them absorbing Luminous into Square Enix. I mean, it kind of just makes sense, right? I wouldn't have foreseen that before the game released, right? Because like I said, I didn't realize the budget for this game was so huge. I thought based on it charting and the sales that it would have actually had a decent return, or at least like a minor loss. But yeah, given the magnitude of the loss for that game, it makes total sense that they probably have no faith in that studio and that team.
Yeah, it was basically, I tell people all the time, I was like, this was their last chance, I think. Like when it came down to it, like their last chance for this game in particular, because it's like, yes, 15 did well critically and it did a decent amount of sales, right? But the fan base were so divided on that game in particular that they were like, okay, just make a brand new IP.
Yeah.
See what you guys do here. And then they didn't deliver, and they were just like, all right, we're just gonna place you in under us, and we're going to have you go throughout our different teams throughout.
What did
Square.
worse though? I'm curious now. Like obviously we got the the way sales are looking, but what did worse, Callisto Protocol or Forespoken? That's a good question.
Didn't they estimate Forespoken was only at $1 million or close to $1 million? And I think Callisto was $2 to $3 million, or no?
It was. Where was the $1 million? Was that coming from Square Enix directly, or is that just like
I think people were like guessing, or analysts. I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a good question. It's a good question. Looking at both these games, just.
I mean, both of them are like tragic story.
Yeah, that's why I thought also Callisto ain't gonna get a sequel either. I think Callisto,
which breaks my heart because I had high hopes for that game. I had high hopes.
Yeah, that game, especially recently, because I know they just had the free DLC that just came out for it, right? That I feel like marketing for that game is just really off too, because
yeah.
Normally when you have DLC of that magnitude, I'd be all in, and especially like, before I played Callisto, I thought for sure I'm going to be playing all the DLC because I was so excited for it. But it's like they have like a new ultra hard mode, I think, and they have new death scenes.
New death
in this.
scenes, and I think they did some performance patch, something like that.
Oh, is
On
it performance as well?
PC? Are you
But
talking about for the PC? Yeah.
It's just so like normally when they patch in like ultra hard modes, like I get pretty interested, but that game, the gameplay is just so clunky.
Yeah.
Like
They sped
so
up the animation. I think they said animation got sped up a bit. So like
maybe I'll have to
healing.
look into some of that because maybe. Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. That actually got
okay. Because that was one of the worst
improved.
parts about the game is the fact that you got to go on one knee and like sit there for 4 seconds.
Well, you got this 2-headed monster that can one hit you.
Yeah,
it's like.
Meanwhile, like the whole time, like I was saying, you should be able to, even if you walk at half speed.
Yeah.
Right. You should be able to at least walk at half speed and shove the thing in your neck. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Maybe I'll have to take a look. I'm sure that the rest of the gameplay is still pretty clunky, but that's certainly a major improvement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like if they patched in another mode into say Dead Space, like I'll be there right away, right? I thought the Dead Space remake was amazing, and I'd certainly be down for more of that.
Well, I don't know where else we can go for this real quick, but I know some people said the game should be free. I think it definitely will go on PS Plus though. I think
What,
that
you talking
game.
about Callisto or
Oh
Forspoken?
no, Forespoken.
I say
Callisto
Callisto's
may
dead.
or may not. I could see Callisto also hitting Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, but I could definitely see Forespoken hitting PS Plus sooner rather than later.
It seems like I don't know if this would kind of sooner rather than later, but I think probably a year, like I think probably maybe even like towards the end of this year, but my guess is probably early next year. It does seem like to me that when you look at what they're doing with PS Plus, it does seem like it's almost about a year after the game releases now, right? Like I think we just had Uncharted, right? Uncharted is coming to PlayStation Plus, and that game released I think January of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 13 months or something after it comes out. Yeah, I just noticed like a pattern where it seems like but because I think
it's gonna be a year.
Wasn't it Horizon?
Yeah, it was February, so about a year.
Horizon, yeah, and that was a year.
Expect God of War probably going to be a year as well once it hits November.
Yeah,
and then Last of Us Part 1 in September, so that'll probably hit PS Plus as well.
That's actually not so. I was actually kind of hoping that they would they'd shrink that down to like maybe 8 months. I think that would be kind of the sweet spot for me, where it's like I think 8 months after a game comes out, it's still probably being talked about by the hardcore fan base, and it's not like it's not too far in memory, in distant memory, right? So a year, I don't know, a year's okay, but it's better at least because I know Sony was waiting years, before putting some of their games in. Years and years before putting games in PS Plus, so they're certainly trying harder to compete.
Oh yeah. Let me see here. This is I'm gonna get into the big story here. Shout out to Cassie. I just saw this $2 super chat. She says, "Shout out to BitCloud, getting people to finish games they cap for." Shout out to Cassie. So I talked about this, on my stream I did when I said I'm back. I talked about potentially this could be the case, and one of the big things that was being mentioned. Well, it was going around in the community, but now we have pretty much like confirmation, like multiple sources saying like, yeah, Sony is making a PS5 and a PS5 Pro, and they're making a PS5 Slim. Now, the first thing I said in my video, or my stream, I flat said, we don't need a Pro, but I can see the Slim absolutely being the case. But it turns out they're making both right now. And they're on track for 2024, supposedly, for this. Now,
Pro.
I'm just gonna ask you guys flat out, because like this is where the weird conversation kind of goes, and I swear to God, I find this to be weird because out of all things to, I guess, prioritize right now, I can see the Slim. The Slim makes sense because you want to get more out there. It's cheaper unit. It's less to make, obviously, right? But a Pro model, do we really need a Pro model in 2024? 2025-ish when we're not even like maxing out what we got now on PS5? I don't get it. We mostly been in cross-gen.
I mean, I got thoughts on it, but I can Red if you want to start.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Reddick.
I don't care.
This is coming from me, right? Like, we don't have like a lot of focus on current gen games right now, right? It's been we're in the phase of still kind of trying to leave cross-gen behind, and we're on the 3rd year, right? So going specifically with PlayStation, right? Returnal was current gen. I don't really say like graphically it didn't look current gen to me. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Okay, I see a little bit of it. Miles was cross-gen, and Demon Souls, I saw it, right?
No. Ratchet is like
no, I know,
beautiful.
but I think it's beautiful, but I don't feel like they're maxing it out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
it looks like an early gen game, but it's certainly looks like something that you would never be able to get on a PS4.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, dude, I personally, I don't think I'm gonna get a Pro anytime soon. Like, but I do think that people will get it just because it's a Pro model. Everyone wants more horsepower. Like, I get it, but I do find some hypocrisy with it if you're like a fanboy and you're like, oh, PC gaming is this expensive, but you're gonna buy
not just that
all these different models of a PlayStation 5 and you're about to hit like $1,000 basically. So it's like,
and let's talk about the upgrade here. I mean, what would be the main upgrade? Would it be GPU power, or will it be?
It would. I think it's a more overclocked CPU, which I would assume, right, and better GPU, which was very similar to what the PS4 Pro did. And I would assume that, I do think, though, once the current gen games are being maxed out, I do see some of the cross-gen games being 1080p 60 that we're seeing currently with certain games, not all games.
I mean, I can see improved ray tracing. I can see faster speeds, maybe.
And better resolution.
The ray tracing, I think, is probably going to be I imagine that's probably going to be the main feature they're going to talk about, right?
So you think that they'll, I guess, remember how in Spider, I mentioned this in that stream too. You remember how Spider-Man Miles Morales and then later on Spider-Man remastered got that performance ray tracing mode? Yeah, I remember that, where it was ray tracing kind of like
the same thing with Ratchet & Clank too.
Yeah. Do y'all think that that's probably what they're trying to go for? To give you that particular game mode where you get both? Maybe that's what they're trying to prioritize.
A better resolution on top of that. Because the thing is, you're seeing some games being 1080p 60, and people are complaining about that too. It's like, oh, this game is 1080p 60, and we don't like that. And not saying everyone, but I'm seeing some people say that. But it's just at the end of the day, I don't know. It depends on the consumer if they're gonna vote with their wallets and buy that product or not, right? Is it so much an incentive for people to go out and spend? Who knows? It could be $500. It could be $600.
Yeah.
It could be $700.
I don't think
who knows
six.
what the possible
I think
price model is going to be.
Sony wants to stay far away from that $600 price tag as much as they can. It'll more likely be just be $500. You'll get a discount by the time the Pro or the Slim drops, and that will be what they'll go for. So basically, the PS5 it's basically going to be a mimic of what we've seen with the PS4 and PS4 Pro. You'll see the PS4 Pro be the price you're paying now for PS5, or for the base model, and then a little cheaper, and that's
$50 or $100 cheaper for the. Mm-hmm. Plus, I mean, Insider Game keeps on saying that we're gonna have the external hard drive
situation fixed, I guess, or improved.
Well, it looks like he's saying that the current PlayStation 4 models are going to be phased out, and there's going to be a new PlayStation 5 that's going to replace those, where it's going to essentially have an external hard drive that you can plug into it.
Oh, see?
Yeah, with the disc tray, right?
That way they don't have to manufacture two different types of PlayStations, which adds a lot of manufacturing costs. They can manufacture just one PlayStation, and then you have the option of buying the external hard drive and plugging it in.
Wow.
Or sorry, not hard drive.
It's the
disk drive.
disc
drive.
Yeah.
Which I'm wondering how that's going to work. If it's going to clip on, or if it's going to be the side,
better
or what.
must
be like must be like a socket.
So
It like slides on.
If you just slide it in or something like that, right?
So I'm guessing you have to remove the plates, very similar to what you do now to get.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
The memory cards, because this is a weird conversation, right? Because
they're saying it's supposed to be with a USB, right? That's what I thought they're trying to do. With
is it?
So
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Maybe it is like totally external. Then.
Okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
But what about those sites?
Someone in the chat can correct me if I was wrong about that.
But the back to the conversation about the Pro, like what I was going to say is that I see like a lot of people I see a lot of articles out there, and a lot of people like talking about like, do we need this or not? Like the thing is like, I don't even think that's a relevant. Like, I mean, it's relevant for us to talk about, but from Sony's perspective, the fact that we're talking about this is a little strange, because the thing is like, we all know, like, or we should know that Sony and all console manufacturers they're already planning the next. Like, as soon as one console launches, they've already got plans for the next, right? So when PS5 launched in 2022, they immediately, and they might have already even before 2022 already had like folks' bodies put on what the next PlayStation 6 is going to be like, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be 2028, right? Or no, I'm wrong. About that
that's what they keep on saying. So the thing is, like, the PS5 Pro and the PS5 Slim, probably discussions for that began like 7 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like probably like a year or two after they started talking about the PlayStation 5, which they would have started planning for the PlayStation 5 when the PS4 launched.
Oh yeah, they're definitely taking feedback. They just got Discord to work now, so they're taking feedback on what is seamless. Yeah, for sure.
So the awkward thing with Sony's planning for this is that nobody back when PlayStation 5 was being planned foresaw that in 2020 we're going to have like a global shutdown, and we're going to have a pandemic sweeping the world, and we're going to have conflicts erupting, and supply chains are going to be disruptive. But like back when they were planning, they were planning this like 2, 3, 4 years before 2020 even hit, right? So like to them, it was just like the PS4 gen, right? It was like they had the PS4, they had the PS4 Pro. Nobody was really complaining. Probably some people were, but very few people were complaining compared to this. And so I think Sony just thought it was the same. So unfortunately, like, we had all this crap happen. And the other thing that made it really unfortunate too is like when the pandemic hit and a lot of these things went haywire.
Yeah,
like that's part of the reason why I'm sure, I think some developers have been talked about it, but part of the reason why we have not really transitioned so fully into next gen, like they knew that Sony knew, Microsoft knew, everybody knew that the amount of consoles they could manufacture in 2020, 2021 was going to be far below what they wanted. And so with a small install base of the current gen, it makes a lot more sense to add on a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One version of those games. So I think some of those decisions, like even like, if you go back to the original marketing of PS5 games, like they didn't mention the PS4 versions of them, right? Some of them might have been in development, from the get-go, and they just never announced it. But I'm sure maybe in some cases, maybe Sony cases, or even third-party developers, like other teams like added on or said, you know what, or maybe they were going to abandon last gen, but they're like, you know what, we can't now. Like we need to plow ahead. So we have this like double whammy of like, for like this gen, we're still getting cross-gen stuff 2 years into the gen, and like, the Sony probably could have sold 5 or 10 million more PS5s if they had 15 million more if they had allocation. So yeah, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm normally, like, when PS4 Pro came out, I was pretty excited. When Xbox Series X came out, I was pretty excited. I upgraded to both. I'll probably end up getting a PS5 Pro, but this is like
I'm a
one of
little
the first consoles
indifferent.
where
I'm just indifferent with it right now.
It's because like
Yeah.
back then PS4 was kind of like, both when those systems launched, a lot of
Yeah.
people criticized and they said like these systems are underpowered.
Yeah.
like some of the, like,
couldn't really do
Xbox
1080p
One.
or anything.
Yeah, Xbox One, like a lot of the original games were 720.
Yeah.
Like
they were.
720, 1080. Like
I-
sometimes PlayStation games were like 900p at points. And it's just like,
Yeah.
So,
So I don't know. Like, I think probably eventually I'd want to get a PS5 Pro, and I may even get it next year when it comes out if it releases. But like, there's a good chance that this might be one of the first times where I just kind of like, I
sit
pause.
Back. Yeah, just sit back. You're like,
because I want like 1 year at least of current gen only before, or hopefully a couple of years, but at least 1 year of current gen only. So I can see, like, I don't even know like the benefits of a PS5 Pro. Would I even need that? Because as you were saying, Red, like, developers haven't even begun to tap into the power of the PlayStation 5, right? Like,
yeah.
so I know, like
performance.
the Horizon, like, Gorilla recently went on the PlayStation blog and was talking about how, like, all these ways that they're taking advantage of the PS5 hardware, because the Burning DLC is going to be PS5 only.
Mm-hmm.
But what was funny is, like, when I was going through that PlayStation blog article, I was like, it almost, like, these are the types of articles that you would normally have read 2 years ago when a console launches.
Yeah.
Like, they're it's like fine, because you could tell they're
It feels
excited.
like a
They're
hard
like, we're
reset.
finally free of the PS4. Like,
Well,
we
yeah.
can finally just focus on. I'm like, oh wow, like, this is the kind of stuff, again, I'd see when consoles launch. Like, you'd see articles of developers, like, being over the moon about all the new power they can tap into and stuff like that. So yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
I
a bit
mean,
worried. I'm gonna say, when it comes to a certain game, we all know it's gonna be PS5 exclusive, Spider-Man 2, but I'm worried that deep down that game's not gonna look current gen. I'm hoping that I'm wrong though. Like, that's got a feeling.
Spider-Man
about that.
2 not looking
Yeah.
next gen. You think Spider-Man 2 won't look?
I'm saying I'm hoping they don't do that. Like, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Everybody
it'll probably look
clip
better
this.
than Miles Morales. But yeah, I think.
I'm hoping,
ta-
because if it doesn't, I'm gonna be so disappointed. Like,
I
really.
mean,
Yeah, I'm not really expecting it to be a graphical powerhouse.
Miles. I mean, again, Miles was cross-gen, and they didn't really take advantage of all the resources. This time around, they have it all. If they stay true to their word, and this is PS5 only, then it should look drastically, at least, more sharper and more. You know what I mean? It's much better lighting, especially especially when we saw the first reveal with the Venom reveal. So it should be fine. Yeah. I don't think you should be worried about Spider-Man 2. But what's interesting about that, by the time this drops, because y'all remember what comes out in 2024, everybody in the chat, if y'all remember, Wolverine was the thing that was slated for 2024.
Well, I think Wolverine's going to look better. But
so
I could definitely see that looking better than,
because it's going to be on a new console.
Like, just
to
to qualify too, I think the reason why Spider-Man 2 is not going to look, drastically, significantly better than what we've already seen is mainly because of the open world aspect of it. I think, like, from what we've heard, Wolverine is taking inspiration from God of War, where it's going to be like semi-open world, right? That's what
gives you that illusion of the open world, but it's going to be like that third person type of look.
Yeah,
like
smaller open worlds, like what you see in God of War, right?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense though, because he's a tank. You know what I mean? He's not really jumping in the air, swinging from buildings, so it makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. It makes way more sense. I just, like, my gut sense from what I've seen in this gen and just game development in general is, like, when I think even the what was it, the co-producer of The Last of Us Part 1, like, recently tweeted about how linear games are like much easier to develop, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just think
Bruce
like,
Straley, right?
Bruce Straley tweeted that out. But I just think like in God of War, like it's when you're looking at sort of smaller environments and don't have to think about this like massive, huge open world, you can make the different biomes like, you know, drastically different, and like all of the different realms that you visit all have it like a distinct tone and vibe and color palette and all that, right? That's the kind of thing you get when you get semi-open world.
That's interesting comment you left there, ACL. He said PS5 Pro might be HDMI 2.2, not 2.1. I don't think they would do something that drastic where you have to go buy a new TV to take full advantage of it. I don't think so. I hope not. You know what I mean? For a Pro, I think it would be 2.1. But
Yeah, no, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like make it exclusively 2.2, and then you can't like utilize the said system. That would like limit a lot of sales.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the big thing they're hiding behind the 2.1, if I remember correctly, what was it? The 120 FPS.
Yeah.
So
The hertz,
Yeah.
Yeah,
for a
you-
TV like LG or something like that.
yes,
it might- I don't know if it's possible to have like a dual, like 2.1, 2.2, but if that's possible, they might do that. But yeah,
No.
they're gonna want to catch the widest net possible, which means they got to support the old TVs.
Yeah, so that's definitely a big misstep if they would do that. So I don't think they would do that. They have to cover all bases when you're launching.
I guess the bigger question to me is like, is Microsoft gonna follow suit?
What for? I think they said like the rumors that they're gonna be making. I don't know what they're gonna call it, because like you had Xbox One, Xbox One X. I don't know what they would title
Series XL.
Yeah.
Series XL.
Series
and then what?
Elite.
Then
They probably will, but I think I think honestly, if Microsoft releases another iteration that's more powerful, that like to a certain degree it's going to shoot them in the foot, because we're already seeing developers complaining. Some of them are boasting about it, but most of them that I've seen are complaining about having to support the X and the S.
Yeah.
the S is like
Right?
the one that they're complaining about the most.
I mean,
right?
if I'm honest,
for
'cause
sure.
Since they said series line, all they gotta do is just say, "Hey, this is the Elite series for their Pro."
Xbox
Oh,
Their
yeah.
Pro. That's
Elite
it.
But
Series
like the-
X.
Or
Why I
just
say
series
say
Elite.
it might
Yeah.
shoot them in the foot a bit is like, think about the power difference between, you know, an Xbox Series X, you know, Pro, like on the high end, and then you got the Xbox Series S on the low end. Like the power differential between those two is going to be
Would they have to make a different
enormous.
Series S though? Right? Would they have to make a powerful version of
Honestly,
a Series S?
they might
Because then
drop
they got to
an
make
S.
another two
Yeah.
models, then, right?
I think they're
Well,
gonna
that's
drop it.
just it. That's just it. Like Microsoft has mandated that developers that want their games on Xbox have to make it on both. So I could honestly see a lot of developers, if they release an Xbox Series X Pro, like I could see a bunch of them just barely taking advantage of it.
But would they do it like a Series S Pro as well, like a cheap alternative
They
too? Would that be
Well,
crazy?
well,
would
that
be
would
crazy
yeah,
enough
that
to
would-
do?
No,
That'd be
that
like
would-
4 systems to develop for.
That would be like
essentially, right?
Wii U, where it's like nobody knows what to buy.
difference.
It's so
Yeah.
confusing. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. I feel like a lot of because right now it's already challenging where they've got to, like, you know, essentially almost make in some cases 2 versions of the games, or like dramatically scaled back versions on the S.
Yeah.
Whereas like
I-
PlayStation's problem will only just be like now they'll have 2 essentially, right? And then
Yeah, they'll be
Xbox
in the,
could be 3 or even maybe, but not.
It's the
but
naming.
even though, you know, Sony would have 2, I think developers would welcome it, because I think honestly developers always welcome more power, right? It's the S. Like I can't believe they haven't done this already, but I really hope at some point in this gen that Microsoft stops that requirement. Like I know it would suck and I don't think they're ever going to do
Well,
it.
they're stuck in a rock between a hard place, right? Because they promised their, you know, fan base that like all the games will be, you know, running on a Series S, right? And if they have to walk that back,
Yeah.
I don't know. Could there
But
be a
maybe
potential
maybe
lawsuit?
what they end up doing is maybe they do what Nintendo does, and they have the cloud versions.
Probably, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of games that
that's true. That's like a workaround essentially, right?
Yeah, like
So-
that's just it. Oh no, we're not breaking our promise. You can still play all of your games on the Series S. It's just
They're the cloud.
10% of them you got to do cloud based.
Hey Sean, that's actually an interesting point about a Series X not having a disk drive. But I think wasn't there something like that a while ago? But they debunked it. Remember, it was like Series E that was supposed to be like the one that didn't have a disk drive, but they debunked it. But they didn't. They never went through with it. But personally, I feel like you guys have been great points with them having developed for the S. If they would have to redo everything all over again, they would have to have like an upgrade like path for everybody in the series line to go to the Elite. So maybe they could pull it off, but that's a lot of consoles, man, and just this short time span. And keep in mind, we haven't even gotten into the new consoles, which are, 2028? That's what dude said?
Yeah, that's what they're potentially supposed to be coming out.
So...
but people were like, because I remember I tweeted that too, and people were like, we're not ready. Like, why are we talking about PS6? How 2028 is 8 years, and every gen is
it's usually about that. I think it's to be fair though.
Years.
To be fair though, like it's because of the whole situation we were in the beginning, right? It's
totally.
3 years, and we haven't got a lot of current gen games. So that basically makes it like seem like it's only 5 years. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
That's what I guess people feel that way.
Yeah, it honestly feels like maybe this year is finally the beginning of the gen.
Yeah. Maybe.
Like aside from Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, and Demon Souls, like 3 games literally
took advantage.
And you can argue, to be fair, you could also argue Returnal doesn't
those are
look
the only
that.
3 games.
But you could also argue that Returnal didn't look really next gen, besides the loading speeds, right? Graphically, it was
that's what Return for sure. Returnal was all about the dual sense immersion. Yeah. That is still probably the best implementation of dual sense that I played yet, but yeah, it was more of the fast gameplay, and I just didn't think that would have been possible on a PS4. But yeah, graphically it's like almost literally Demon Souls and maybe Callisto Protocol, Ratchet and Clank, sure, yeah, but so maybe 3 games that graphically have looked next gen.
And the thing is, Callisto is also cross gen too.
Yeah, true. Very true. Hold on. All right. But no, it was I don't know, it's just a lot of questions. I mean, usually times like this, if we go back to the PS4 gen, we would be like over the moon, like, hell yeah, I'm down for a Pro right now because these consoles suck, terrible performance. But the thing is, we've been getting the performance. We've been getting, I mean, okay, we haven't getting no crazy consistent.
To be fair, we're cross gen as well. Still,
we're cross gen. Yeah, but we haven't been in crazy, crazy performance options. But we have been getting some great options, and I've been happy with it. But I don't know. I guess we'll tackle this again when we get closer.
See a reveal, or
and that's another thing. You just brought up a point I was going to make. That might explain why Sony's been super quiet on these events. You ever think about that, Hunter? We haven't got any information on their next showcase.
Oh, so if you saw or been following the news, I think Hunter, you must have known. If you go by what Jeff Grubb's been saying, right? In the beginning of February, he said there's going to be a low key state of play, basically saying it's not good. That I guess his nice way of saying it, right?
So I'm saying we haven't got no crazy.
And then he said though that there's going to be a PlayStation showcase before E3. Now he doesn't know. I even asked him when I was on Mooch's podcast. He came in for a bit. And I was like, so it could be the first week of June or in May. He's like, yeah, it's a possibility. I would assume you'll get the showcase around those time frames, not April. I don't think you'll get it next month. But he's saying it's supposed to be the second phase of PlayStation. And he said the reason they didn't show anything off, going by him, is because the studios weren't ready to show off their games. That's what he's saying, though.
Oh yeah,
I saw that. I saw him I think that he said that in his original comments as well about them not being ready.
So
I don't know, man. It's got to be like from at least from a showcase perspective. It's like, I mean, my opinion is it the most disappointing gen ever. For like I play primarily on my PlayStation, and I've had nonstop amazing games to play the entire gen. So I'm super satisfied in terms of the games that I played, but in terms of like my excitement for the future of the
we don't got any
PlayStation
Wolverine
Mhm.
factions.
this is the
and Spider-Man.
lowest I've ever been. I know that there's
And that's
there's,
why
like
that's good. I'm glad. See, I like how that naturally just happened because that's literally what I put in the title. What should we expect for 2024? Because
So like I would say showcase, right? The
Yeah.
only thing besides the games I announced, right? I think absolutely Spider-Man 2 is going to be there. It's going to be like shown off similar to what Miles was in a showcase, right?
Mm.
So you're going to see a gameplay demo, and it's going to give you a release date for whatever fall is. Last
Yeah.
Spider-Man game came out for what was it in 2018? That was September, right?
Yeah, 2018.
yeah, it was September.
So they're gonna get the release date for that. Absolutely. Factions, I think absolutely will be there. I think Wolverine
Yeah.
maybe because like it's similar
Just
to
a
like what
reveal.
Miles and Ratchet and Clank were both in a like showcase, right? So
Right.
I think they could do something similar to Wolverine, but that's going to be out for next year. I think I'm trying to think of something else. Oh, Uncharted.
Yeah.
I think absolutely you're going to see something with
oh
Uncharted
yeah.
because of
They-
that whole PlayStation ad thing. So I think that's going to be there.
Yeah, the other thing too that I don't see a lot of people talking about, but and I can dig up when it was, but there was actually news that came out. It must have been like 6 months or maybe even a year ago. But Sony hired a new person at PlayStation, and they were responsible. They're like because they posted their like job description on LinkedIn.
Yep.
They were responsible for the future of the Uncharted franchise. Like that's like verbatim how they describe their job. I'm like, this is PlayStation. This is not. If this was Sony Pictures, then it makes sense that they're talking about movies. But this is talking about PlayStation, right? So like. Of course, we're like, and plus they teased it in the live action, right?
Yeah,
Where they
had live action.
They had like a live action trailer thing to hype up PS5,
Yeah.
but there was a gameplay snippet in there where like the chick was walking around in the fire. I think
Was it
that
gameplay? I thought it was a
Uncharted.
live
it wasn't
action.
game. Was it? No,
Was
it was
It
live
was
action.
live action.
That was live action.
Was
It looked like a game.
Well, I mean, go back. I mean, I'm the whole.
But
the whole
I'm
thing
pretty sure
was-
it's supposed to hint at Cassie, though. Right?
Yeah, it looked like
for
Cassie.
Drake's daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Indiana Jones, like type temple, type like thing in the center, and like what's the only Sony franchise that's like Indiana Jones?
Pretty much.
It was like for sure it was Cassie. Like
I just hope they tread thinly on that and do it
Oh,
right.
because of the
and
Tomb
not-
Raider
for the-
comparison.
Exactly, the Tomb
Yeah.
Raider comparison is
true.
going to be out the wazoo as soon as they do that. So that's.
But it's just like it's just what like when you think back, especially think back to PlayStation 4, right? That like I think PS4 is arguably when Sony had the best press conferences of all time. Like
Yep.
when they announced God of War with the orchestra, when
2016.
when Spider-Man flashed on screen, even
Crash
things
Bandicoot.
like I think it was in the like Paris Game Week or whatever, but when they announced Detroit
Yep.
Detroit become human,
Ghost, right? That was also there?
Ghost of Tsushima, like that. It's the fact that we're like over 2 years into the gen, and I still feel like we haven't even come close to any of those reveal
Wow
moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where they're like with like when they had Shadow of Colossus remake announced, something that people have been asking for like forever, and they had what's
FF7 remake.
exactly.
That was crazy.
FF7 remake, The Last Guardian, right? Like I distinctly remember because I've been at like a lot of their live or most like all the live E3 events the last 10 years or so, and I distinctly remember like press conferences that had jaw-dropping moment after moment after moment. Like at the end, I'm like, that was amazing. That blew my mind. That was the best thing I've ever like. It was just like the amount of crazy cool things that they announced, and like now we're in a gen where they haven't actually even had a showcase in a year and a half.
Even those weird showcases where we had like when the dudes just hanging upside down like zombies to mimic the Days Gone thing, and they were moving. like even the weird, but it was cool. Or even like
that was their last.
Well, even
E3.
Even, right? Yeah, even the initial trailers for Days Gone looked amazing, right?
Oh yeah, no,
the game ended up underperforming compared to what. But I think it was one of those cases where the game got downgraded.
Yeah.
But I remember like the first trailer with Deacon where he's running away from all the freakers, and there's like 300 freakers chasing him. That was mind blowing, man. That
making it crazy.
We had never seen anything like that before. Yeah. We've never seen so many enemies on screen. Like it's just and what I find so like. Probably one of the most disappointing things of this gen is like, we haven't had these big PlayStation conferences, but you remember like I'm trying to remember all the games because so many got announced. But do you remember like September of last year where we got what was it? There was like we got Death Stranding 2 got announced, and then we had Silent Hill remake get announced, and I think there was another one that I'm forgetting.
Yeah, it was revealed. Yeah.
It was Silent Hill 2.
Death Stranding 2, Silent Hills, and
the Horizon expansion, which was at the Game Awards.
Horizon, yeah. There was maybe it was the Horizon, but I remember like this all took place in like 10 days. There was like
and the FF7 Rebirth too. That was in the Square conference.
You had the
Konami anniversary,
the Konami showcase. You had the Blooper Team showcase. You had a small state of play, and it was like. It's so weird. Like, could you imagine if because Sony's probably sitting on like 10 or 15 unannounced games or 20 unannounced games. Like, could you imagine a showcase where they announced like 5 or 6 of those that were all awesome and like mind blowing, and then they showed us Death Stranding 2, and then they showed us Silent Hill 2, and then they showed us I think Stellar Blade was another one where they actually announced the name Stellar Blade, right?
Oh yeah, and RE4
had a new trailer for RE4, had Stellar, like it's why like they literally had a mind-blowing showcase, and it got chopped up into like
different like
20 different pieces and farmed out to everyone. Yeah. What a disappointing gen.
Yeah, I think they were like like I was gonna say, I think their rationale, I could be completely wrong. I think they were trying to go like, dude, we have all these awesome third-party games and some of the deals, but we barely got any first-party games to show off.
I'm gonna keep it.
And then people would have. But how would you have felt if that showcase happened and they only had like 2 first-party studios like games? Would you feel some sort of way?
I definitely feel somewhere. But here's the thing. The last conference that we had, PlayStation-wise, I think you all can agree in unison here. We all will agree in unison. Was when we had the live video presentation / introduction for the PS5. You know what I'm talking about, when we saw the console. That was like the
2020.
Last time. Yeah, that was the last time we all got super hyped, similar to 2016. Because we saw the hardware reveal. After that, we didn't get anything on that level in terms of like live showcase.
They did it twice that year, by the way. They did it like they kind of chopped it up in 2, right? Because they did one.
But I'm talking about that
July
main one.
August.
I'm talking about that main one though, where they were showing out bits and pieces. We saw developers talking about it. Then all developers were like in a Discord call saying, "Welcome to PS5." And then we see the marbles moving. It's like that was that moment. We were like, "Holy shit, that's dope." We haven't had the moment like that.
Yeah, and then 2021 wasn't that great. Like it got saved in the later half with like Wolverine and Spider-Man, but it wasn't like amazing or anything. It was like for a showcase. But I'm really hoping it does get that good if it comes out to be like a big showcase like that in May or June.
Yeah, that's me being honest with y'all. You know, as a PlayStation guy, I really do feel like, damn, that was the last time we all were like, holy shit.
The weird thing is like we're over 2 years into the gen, and I believe Herman Hall said that I think it was 25 games in development. Was it 20 or 25? It was one of those numbers. I think 25.
25?
20 like 25, like Sony PlayStation Studios has like over 20 games.
And that's with second party development studios too, right? including it?
Probably, yeah. I don't know if it was clarified as that, but probably, yeah, it makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just so weird because like, I mean, how many do we actually know about? Like 5 or less? We know, you know what I mean? Like
we still don't even know what Jade Raymond's working on at Haven Studios or Demolition Games. We don't know what.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention. I think that Horizon
Liverpool.
multiplayer game that got leaked also will be at that showcase.
Fire Sprite. What happened to Fire Sprite? Remember Fire Sprite? Where's Fire Sprite's update or news on that? I mean,
you're gonna see a couple
like
of like live service games at that showcase too. To be fair.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, and even Bungie is supposed to be working on a couple of other games too, right? So it's wild, man. Like I think I'm pretty much at the point now where I gotta start thinking like probably for most of Sony's studios, we're gonna get like maybe 1 game or maybe 2 this gen. Like game development is so long, 5 years, 6 years now to develop games. It's like almost like a lot of the bigger studios they have 2 teams or 3 teams. Like Naughty Dog has a couple of teams, right? Gorilla, I think it probably has a couple.
Insomniac,
of teams.
I think, has the most though. They go crazy with the amount of games they put.
But like each team is going to have 1 game. Like Pixel Opus will have 1 game this gen. Media Molecule will have 1 game this gen, right? Fire Sprite, I don't know. Like
Blue Point Games, good point, Gravedigger.
Oh, new IP. I think they're supposed to be.
Yeah, Blue Point Games will have 1 game this gen.
Yeah,
like, they'll have their new Jade Raymond will have 1. Like, it's wild, man.
Yeah.
Well, do you think they'll show it off? Because I feel like they were hinting. Like, didn't they have a tweet with like these like gifts or presents? Yeah,
the presents.
But I think they might show something off.
Well, even London Studio was teasing, right? London Studio even released the first concept photo, where they're like they're like futuristic fantasy based in London multiplayer game.
Yeah, it's damn.
Yeah, but it's just weird though. That's how Sony like announces games now. They before they used to give us like a mind-blowing, jaw-dropping
like roadmap
bombshell program, right?
Yeah.
Like E3 program, and now we'll get a concept art photo tweeted by the studio, and that's how they announce their games now.
Yeah. They now got that article format where they'll just say, "Hey, this is what we got." They'll show Forespoken, this, that, and third. Those games that was on that list. Ironically, the main game they're banking on, I mean, for obvious reasons, this year is Spider-Man 2. That's gonna be their big game.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting them to go all out with like another train, another bus. There's no movie coming out this year, so no extra advertisement for the game like the last one got. But again, I don't think they need it at this point. Venom is enough to make you go, yes, I want.
I think they're gonna absolutely tease Venom in that game.
They got to.
I think you'll see a last scene and he's gonna be there, and boom, and then they'll give the release date. Like you'll see like the symbiote, like whatever, like tendrils,
grabbing,
like move. No. The tendrils like form the release date or something like that too.
That actually
and
dope.
Then maybe you'll hear like his voice or something, and then
or they'll tease
I think it's gonna be like such at least for people that enjoy following sales of games. I think it'll be such a fun year because it's gonna be Hogwarts versus Spider-Man versus Call of Duty.
Resident Evil 4 as well. There's another one. Resident Evil 4 is definitely going to be in.
I don't think it's going to like Resident Evil sells well.
I think it's about Game of the Year category.
No, I'm talking about. I'm just trying to figure out how many copies. I think. Don't Resident Evil games end up selling like really high numbers?
They sell decent.
But they usually take a little while. Like I remember like Capcom like every year they would announce the sales, and I'm like, oh, that game got like another million or whatever. Oh. But out of the gate, they don't usually sell.
It's not huge. Like
we forgot about another game too,
like Hogwarts.
Yeah, it's another game too that might be a stealth seller this time around. Jedi Survivor might be.
I think that'll sell well.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be in the same league as the games we just talked about, but I think it'll certainly sell. People keep on trying to lump Starfield into that. I think they're like out to lunch.
I think Starfield sales are going to be very much comprised of Steam sales
because of Game Pass. Like Game Pass is what 25 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be like that's got to be 10 million less sales that it would get. Like I have to imagine 30%, 40% of Game Pass users are probably going to get that game, if not more. Download that game. It's not Starfield won't sell well. It'll have like tens of millions of players, but it won't sell all that well.
Did you guys like the presentation for it or the showcase? The last time we saw it, whatever the hell they did.
I liked it. It's just the games didn't show for 2021 was not that interesting till the later half of the showcase of 2021.
Gotcha.
You're talking about for Starfield? Or are you talking about
Starfield.
Starfield.
I thought you were talking about
Todd
Howard trailer.
Yeah, whatever that thing was. Yeah, where he was like showing.
No, I didn't. It was to me. I didn't put any stock.
Yeah, they didn't like show
because
much,
it was 80% like Todd Howard just talking.
Oh god.
And the first part of it was just CG, right?
Yeah.
And then
they were showing like the Galaxy or whatever. I would say it's in engine.
You could see developers playing the game in the background.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that part. Yeah. But I wanted to mention.
I mean, all I'll say is I think it looked better than the showcase last year.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell who thought that was a good idea to show that.
I wanted to mention though Jedi Fallen Order because I looked it up at 2020, which it came out in November, right? Mm-hmm. Sold like 10 million copies by 2020, or no, was it 2019? No, 2019 is when the game came out. So that was about a year,
10
right?
million
for 10 million
Fallen Order. I mean,
okay. for a whole year, basically.
It's a kind of I think the other games will probably sell more, but I think that one's a dark horse. Like it's for sure. You got to consider that based on what you're telling us. But I think I know. I think it'll be. What I should know this. What is Hogwarts at? Did they say? It was 10 million?
It's on the cusp of beating Elden Ring.
Elden Ring's is it lifetime sales or no? Like on the cusp of beating
I know. UK, they said it was about to do that or something like that.
They said it was about to outsell the total number of Elden Ring games sold in the UK.
Yeah.
Which is huge
and that's not even including the previous gen either. That got delayed till May, right?
Well, that's actually a good point. That's a really good point, actually. Probably Hogwarts. I think there's a very good chance Hogwarts will take it. Because we're not even talking about last gen or Switch. And
Switch wasn't Switch delayed kind of indefinitely? They didn't give a release date for it, basically.
I think
maybe
they did.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was Switch was still the summer and the other versions, the PS4 and the Xbox One were sort of like.
Hogwarts.
I thought they were all dropping on the same time. As the last gen.
I think they originally pushed out the last gen, 2 months or something, and then I think they pushed it out by another month.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't keep track of it because I don't.
So
I don't
July
care about last gen.
25th, the Switch version is supposed to release.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that this. I haven't heard that the Switch version's been impacted by. I think it was the other versions that got either delayed.
I want to see how that game runs though on the Switch. I want to see if it struggles.
It's gonna play like Pokemon Emerald. That's how it's going.
Nobody who has like any other hardware would ever buy the Switch version. But I want to see how well it does on Switch. Well, why I think the Switch version is going to be huge from a sales perspective is one of the biggest fan bases of Harry Potter in the world is Japan. Japan is absolutely Japan not only has Harry Potter in their Universal Studios, and it is the reason to go to Universal Studios. I think, well, maybe not now because the Mario Nintendo Land just opened up, but it was the reason to go there for like 10 years. But they also have like a huge new studio, like Harry Potter studio tour that's opening up in Tokyo, I think in June. It is like that country is obsessed with
What did he freeze? You guys there?
Mile in Japan. So I think it'll do some pretty good numbers over there.
Yeah.
That was funny. Like you were like froze just like, and I was gonna go, hey, what?
I think you just set up.
That's funny.
Hopefully you guys caught that. But
we heard it like sped up.
I mean, it'll probably sell like 1 million or 2. It won't be like amazing, but it'll probably crack the 1 million or more on Switch. I think. Probably same thing on 1 million each on last gen consoles too. So yeah,
so you think
it's a beast.
You think that Switch Pro Or not Switch Pro, that new one. Actually, no. What am I talking
No,
about?
it's
There's not
supposed
gonna
to
be no
be
Switch.
new
Yeah,
Switch.
there's not gonna be no new Switch in 2024.
I think we're going to get a new Switch next year for sure.
That's
Like,
what I told people. I don't know why
they're-
everyone was thinking there was going to be a Pro model. I was like, dude, at this point, it's going to be a new Switch. I was
Yeah.
like,
Zelda's like the bookend.
Okay.
Right? Zelda begins the gen.
And that begins
Zelda-
their phase into 70.
Zelda ends the gen.
Mhm.
Yeah. What a Nintendo is all about, like swan songs, like
So that would be
They did
their
it- they
entry
did it
into
with-
they're all
70.
You know
about
what's
like,
funny?
like the
Like you
good
mentioned,
story, right?
Breath of the Wild ended the Wii U going into Switch.
Now
and
it's gonna end the
Tears of
Switch.
Kingdom's going to end the Switch going into
Yeah.
Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Even
what
just
y'all
from P-
what y'all thinking power wise on this thing? Actually, while
I-
on top of that,
I'm
like,
going to be
while we-
honest. You want me to be honest? I don't think it's going to be as powerful as a Steam Deck. I think.
yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to think like
I
how
agree
powerful
for
it's
sure.
going to be. Like
half
maybe
step?
20 to 30% less powerful than a Steam Deck.
So
or maybe
more like
even less.
more like a half step.
I don't know. I mean, depends. Like, what do you
Yeah.
consider a Steam Deck? Like,
I mean, Steam Deck gives you mad freedom. They're not going to give you that type of freedom on top
I mean,
of
of
it.
course,
So,
Yeah.
the console's a closed ecosystem, so
yeah.
it's not gonna do that.
so I don't know. They're not going to
I
have
don't think
three
Nintendo
alternatives.
even wants to like be the thing is with Nintendo is like they clearly don't want to compete in like the high end like HD market, and I don't think they even like if they were even thinking about like they may have saw a Steam Deck and were like considering, oh, should we have it that powerful? I don't think they want to, because the thing is with Nintendo is like, first of all, nobody buys Nintendo for graphics, right?
That is true.
That's just not their market. So they don't need to have high end graphics because that's not their market. But also too, like we like Sean Layden and everyone think like other like big names in the industry keep on talking about how like dev costs are rising and dev costs are going to be like unsustainable. Nintendo is like the exact opposite of this, man.
The games cost like barely like a lot, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Look at how much would Animal
Animal Crossing sold a lot.
A lot. It's like 30
crazy
million.
amount.
It's like 30 million, something like that.
Yeah, but like compare like a dev cost for like Animal Crossing versus
God of War
Yeah.
versus God of War. Like
Spider-Man, sheesh.
I'm sure they're on different leagues. They almost have to be based on like graphics and performance alone. So yeah, Nintendo is just like they got the perfect audience. They don't care about graphics. They could make cheap games. Look at the Bayonetta game that just got released.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that game.
Like look at the. I mean, I reviews seem pretty positive, so I'm not knocking that. But just from like a pure graphics perspective, like it's that would be like an indie title on PlayStation or Xbox or PC,
So
right? Like
that's a good question. Like I guess the underlying like minimum that they would go for Switch 2. Because I don't think they want to break out of the how much is the Switch now? Like $400 to get a Switch.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to get into the 500 range for a Switch 2. So they want to get into 4. So how much more powerful would you possibly go to? You know what I mean? And still maintain the gimmick of taking it on the go, switching to TV. I mean, how much would you stay?
Well, the other thing too is the other thing too to factor into Nintendo. I hope they don't go this route, but like the other thing is they're much more about, for lack of better words, gimmicks than power.
Yeah.
Right? Like you got 2DS, you got 3DS. Like everything had a gimmick. Wii was a gimmick.
And their most powerful systems didn't sell that
was
well, right?
a gimmick. Yeah, like
GameCube didn't sell well. I think it was supposed to be like one of the most powerful like systems at that time frame, right? And it didn't sell well.
Yeah, like I fully expect the next Switch to be more powerful, but I actually think there's a pretty good chance that they may think of some new gimmick. I
don't think they will. I think they're gonna stray away from it. I think they're gonna have a sort of gimmick in Switch 2, but it's inherently still going to be a Switch 2. I think it'll be crazy for them just to be like,
Oh yeah.
you know what, a hybrid. No, we're gonna go to create a different type of system that's a home console.
They're not going to do handheld only.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. They're
I think they're just going to keep doing the
Yeah.
hybrid with little more gimmicks to it.
Yeah.
And that's really
Yeah,
good.
like what if it's like
Because they make so much money off of it. So
what
it's
if it's like a 2DS Switch? Like
Yeah.
that's not within like maybe like the lid has a screen. You flip it up and you got your two like I can honestly see or even like, you know, like
so it'd be like the size of like a Steam Deck.
PS Vita had like the back touchpad, like just
Yeah.
I'm positive that Nintendo is like playing around with like 40 different gimmicks.
Yeah.
And even because the funny thing is, if remember, like at the beginning of Switch actually launched with a whole bunch of gimmicks to sell the console, and then they just like forgot about it, right? It was like, do you remember what is it? What is it? 1-2 Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
That first game that had like it was taking advantage of the motion controls and the 3D rumble, and I think the one Joy-Con actually has a scanner, right?
Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah.
There, you can like I think you can put your thumb and it can like scan. Like I can't even remember because.
Oh yeah,
like,
I thought you could put the amiibo on the thumb.
Yeah, they had that, but there was also like Anyways, like there was like gimmicks galore in Switch, and then they all got you know not talked about, and all they talked about was the you know the capability of switching between handheld and TV, right? So
I agree with that, Hurricane. I do hope they at least get that situated with the damn thing.
You're asking too much. What party chat on the Switch? Dude, didn't at one point like Discord told Nintendo, hey, we're down to create an app for you guys,
and they turned it down.
Nintendo, and they didn't even say a word. Either they turned it down or didn't say anything. So it's like you're asking way too much for party chat on a Switch. Didn't they like create an app specifically for a phone?
They said
something?
it was protecting kids. Isn't that what they said? Like we're against that because they want
like that. That is asking way too much for Nintendo.
Like another thing that I was thinking about too is they might even just get like lean hard into AR, right? Like they could. I could because Nintendo's all about like selling other stuff too, like cardboard with Labo and like Amiibo and stuff like that. Like I could see there being like maybe a camera on the backside, right? Yep. Where you can have AR because you know like you know Pokemon Go and all these.
Didn't DSi have a camera too?
I think so. Yeah. There was AR with that I think as well. Yeah. I could see them doing something like that where they have like we have our whatever's replacing Amiibo. It's like our new AR card system.
They could give you complete back and pat, but again, I think they would sacrifice the power of it just to get the price to 400.
I gotta mention
better.
Yeah,
this. Sean mentioned. I honestly don't understand you guys' fascination with things like party chat. Seriously. So I don't think it's really party chat. It's more of Discord implementation because I can say from Big Cloud and me and people in the chat that have interacted with us, we're on Discord quite a bit. So it's like having implementation with Discord on like a PlayStation or a Switch.
It's
or
more
Xbox
convenient. We all can chill.
It's a lot convenient.
Yeah, it's a lot more convenient.
Yeah.
We don't have party chat. We don't use the party chat systems within these like consoles. But PC for me, like that's my primary system, and PS5 secondary.
Also,
I use Discord quite a bit.
It's perfect for it's perfect for like those intense you know games you're playing with a team like a squad or whatnot. You have your separate little chats, you know, for your homies you can play. So that's why you know it was weird even at the beginning of the Switch when we first saw it when they got into the whole voice chat thing because I remember what was the first thing they were showing off was Splatoon. They were showing off esports teams calculating plays. You remember that, Hunter? And then there was no voice chat. So I'm like, wait, how are they supposed to do call-outs? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? And then they had that silly, you know,
party chat with the phone, and then you have to. It was dumb.
Yeah.
Then you can hear the speaker coming from the TV, and it was a big nightmare. But dude, I would say when it comes to Switch too,
they can say what they want about the PS5's controller like speaker. Yeah. I would take this over that silly construction that we had on the. on the Switch.
Yeah,
What
the
do you-
speaker I
what
always
do you-
thought was weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a cool thing, but like, don't majority of gamers have headphones on? Like,
Yep.
Yep.
For that
Same
surround
thing with
sound.
Discord.
Yeah, we
like
all.
it just seems so weird to not have headphones on, and why would? So I don't know. It feels like a wasted feature to me.
I was going to
Exactly.
mention, even though, like, let's say theoretically, right? Switch 2 somehow doesn't have backwards compatibility. Do you think majority of Switch owners or Nintendo fans would care or not? That is something I'm
I
interested
mean,
in.
I'd care.
I mean, yeah, but do you think the overall like fan base? Do you think they'll be like, "No, I'm not going to buy another Switch 2," or do you think people will still buy it in droves? I think they would still buy it in droves.
Nintendo fans will buy anything
Yeah.
Nintendo does. They will like that. That's why like Wii U sold, was it 12 million?
Yeah.
12 million. That's the size that. So Wii U is, I think,
That was the hardcore of the hardcore.
absolutely, for sure, that is the size of Nintendo's hardcore audience. 12, maybe now a little bit more because Switch is so popular. Maybe 15, maybe 20 million, but like 15 or 20 million is like the hardcore. We'll do anything Nintendo says, and then the other 80 million that buy their consoles are like casual gamers, mom and
But
dad.
the casuals would try to buy a Switch 2 regardless of.
And that's just it.
backwards
Yeah. So that was my point, is that 80% of Nintendo's audience is not their hardcore audience, and they'll buy whatever. Like,
Oh yeah.
they like, I mean, the Nintendo of course had the issue with the Wii U, but that was like for sure like a marketing issue. Like they literally, moms and dads didn't even know that thing existed and that it was different than the Wii. But yeah. Switch 2 will sell 100 million if they like just iterate on what they're doing, and
make it more seamless for everyone, and that's pretty much it. Ace, this is from Hex Gaming. That's Chrome. So yeah, it's got paddles on the back too, and textured grip, if you can see that.
But yeah, man, I mean, Nintendo had better make the games back compatible, because the thing that I dislike the most about Nintendo is the fact that every console has its own library, has its own shop. Like I think it's actually this month, I think I just saw people talking about it again, where the Wii U and the I think 3DS stores are closing down permanently.
Yep.
Right? That is like, and the thing is too, is like Nintendo finally launched Nintendo Switch Online, and they integrated like the online account system. Like they finally have their version of an Xbox Live and a PSN, and like things better just move over because of that, right? Like my purchase library, like my profile. If I have to create another Nintendo account for PlayStation, or sorry, for a Nintendo Switch 2, like I'll do it, of course, because I'm gonna buy their console, and I like Nintendo, but I'll just be scratching my head, shaking my head, like it's better. Like they finally have to have the infrastructure move forward with you as you go through, and I think the same with Sony and Xbox. Like, PS6 better be back compatible with PS4. Like I'm just getting sick of it, man. I'm sick and tired of not that I play those games all that often, but I know a lot of people do, and for like preservation of games and the game industry in general, like they got to start going the PC route, man. Like, how you can play games from like what, the 80s, maybe the 70s. I don't know.
There's no limit.
At least the 80s on Steam. Like, it's awesome. That's the thing. That's the best thing I like about my Steam library,
dude.
Right?
The fact
is that everything always carries forward.
The fact that some dude in his basement made a damn emulator to where we can play PS3 games on PC, and Sony still has no solution whatsoever for PS5 vaulting, so you can play Metal Gear Solid 4 or any of the classics.
Well, that's That's the biggest tragedy.
Or
for
Infamous
sure.
1 and 2.
Infamous 1 and 2, exactly.
I love Infamous 1 and 2, so I would love to play those games again. But
yeah, I hate that those games are pretty much permanently locked away until further notice, unless they figure that out by PS6. But I don't know what they're gonna do at that point. But I don't know, man. I mean, I personally, it is. I guess it is what it is at this point. But I mean, shit, it's a toss up at that point. But how long we've been live, people? We've been live for 2+ hours. That's a good way to end it. What you guys think? I think it was a good. It's a great one.
I thought it was something that we didn't talk about, but I can't remember now.
ABK deal, was that it?
It slipped my mind.
What's
that?
Was it the Activision deal?
No, I don't. Well, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
I had that on the title, but I don't even want to talk about it either. It's like,
bro, it's getting to the point where I'm just like,
I'm infuriated.
It's embarrassing for Sony. It's embarrassing for Microsoft.
Yeah.
These
I just don't care anymore.
My favorite article so far from this entire thing was one I just read in the last week, where it was like, the headline was something. I think it was like PC Gamer or something like that, but it was like, Microsoft signs 10-year deals for Call of Duties with all these platforms that you've never ever heard of.
Oh yeah, the cloud platform thing. I won't lie, I was like, who?
It's if I was
that cloud platform I never heard of. I'm like, who is that?
Xbox fans are like cheering for that, but if I was Phil Spencer, I'd be ashamed. I'd be embarrassed.
I'm not leaving my office.
And only because the actual deals themselves are actually good, because the more games and more platforms, the better.
Yeah.
But why I'd say like embarrass is like this is all like posturing and like
they're trying to get the deal. Like Sony's doing whatever it takes to get the deal to not go through, and Microsoft's trying to do whatever it takes to
getting on your hands and please, all you cloud companies that nobody's heard of, could you please sign a deal, because we're gonna show that to the UK authorities and the CMA and the FT. It's embarrassing. Like and Sony's the same thing. Sony's done so many embarrassing things. It's the Lulu,
that one too.
Massieri or whatever her name is. The Activision. She's probably one of the most embarrassing of them all.
Yeah, she's taking weird shots at him, making stupid gifts.
I will say,
she's just doing fanboy stuff.
I will say the funniest one was like, the internet going crazy when it was like Lulu was like, Jim Ryan said this at the EU deal. It's like, I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I want to block the merger. I was like, everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that's what he's supposed to do.
It's pretty
much block the deal.
I'm gonna say it's not in his best interest if the deal goes through, because Sony loses a big chunk of their market share.
It was like that. I thought that was so funny. I was dying. I was like, everyone was like, man, this is terrible. I was like,
somebody,
dude,
I don't know
the point.
I didn't actually look at dig too far into this, because I don't really I don't care so much about the outcome of this, and I'm kind of getting sick of it. But I did actually see a couple of articles about how like one thing that people have to remember is that Lulu and these other like Bobby Kotick and everyone else at like the senior executive apparently they have like basically stock deals.
Oh yeah, that they wanted to go through
that are dependent on this. Like the reason why she's being so embarrassing on social media is like because of course she wants this deal to go through so badly, but it's just to line their pockets, man. Like I can't stand like hardly any executives. Like,
they do the dumbest things. They contradict themselves. It's like it's funny. Jim
she's not doing this to like
all these other people
because she thinks it's going to benefit gamers and it's going to benefit the game industry. Like she's not doing she's doing it to get a paycheck, man. She wants to buy out. She wants to pay out. She wants to take her family on a world tour. She wants to buy a mansion. She wants to upgrade her car. Like, God, like it's just
That's one of the
all
main
of this,
reasons.
man.
That's one of the main reasons Call of Duty or the Activision was all in on it. It's like they want those golden parachutes for their main.
A lot of the executives were like,
Yeah.
"Yo, yes, let's go."
Yeah,
Like
just my
the- so
retirement.
the-
I'm good to go. I can leave.
It
And
work-
then
it works both.
the funniest one was like, Bobby was like talking to the news or whatever. He's like, "Man, Jim Ryan, man, PlayStation, they're not returning our calls." I was like, "Bro, like what?"
It's like,
Of course they're not gonna return.
of
your
course
calls.
he's not.
You
You don't
can-
want it to go through.
You can tell that Activision, like, you know, publicly they're all saying all these bad things about Sony, but they, at the end of the day, nothing has changed from a business perspective. Activision, you know, especially right now because they're not part of Microsoft, they need Sony. Like Sony is their biggest platform by sales for sure, and probably by a wide margin. And so like it's just they're just saying like publicly. How sad does it have to be to publicly be bashing this company that you know, you're biting the hand that feeds you. You know what I mean? Like you bash them on Twitter, and then when you go for dinner with your other high paid executives, who's paying for that dinner? Huh? Because I'll tell you, it's probably Sony that the paychecks are getting from Sony that's paying for half those dinners you're taking, right? So I don't know, man. It's just sad. It's just pathetic to see. I can't
it's gonna
wait
keep
for this
going. It's gonna keep
end
going though. That's the thing. Till
until
probably
June
or
July.
even further. Who knows? Because of like the things getting delayed. I think the EU delaying their decision, which means the CMA is going to delay their decision.
They're going to get more. It's going to be more like the clown show is going to get funnier. Everything's going to be more embarrassing.
I tell people it's like I want it done like either one way or the other, but this thing is going to continue going. It could be by the end of this year, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with Activision as I feel with Bethesda. Either way, I don't care because I always have Xbox and PlayStation, so platforms don't really matter to me. The people keep on saying that the biggest, like, you know, the biggest losers for stuff for these kind of deals is Sony. I don't actually agree. I think the biggest I think with Bethesda, the biggest loser of that deal is Bethesda. I think Microsoft benefits enormously, and I think Xbox players benefit enormously from the Bethesda acquisition. But I think the biggest loser is Bethesda, and the reason why I say that is because they now can't produce their games on the most popular gaming platform in the world. They've lost that entire base. Sony has a worldwide audience versus Microsoft that does not. Microsoft is Canada, US, Mexico, Brazil, UK, and Australia. I can count them the amount of countries that like, you know, highly invest in Microsoft Xbox, and that's it. The rest of the world
is all PlayStation,
including all those countries. All those countries are PlayStation. But the other thing too that also is, like, you know, it's a terrible thing for Bethesda is like the Xbox community will tout, 8 million people played this game or 10 million people played this game. But the thing is, when you look, like, the classic example, the recent example is Wolong. Did you guys see the article? Or if not, you can go check it, or you can even check the actual numbers. You go to Wolong, and you go to PC, you go to Steam, or you go to PlayStation 5, and you look at the trophy percentage completion. Even look at the first boss. I believe the first boss is around like 85% completion for on PlayStation, but on Xbox, I think, like, I don't want to.
I think I know where you're going with it.
I forget the number, but it was like 5% or 10%.
Yeah, I did the same thing where I looked at the TMNT Schroeders Revenge and looked at PlayStation Steam. They're very similar, and then the Xbox at Game Pass, it was like low.
Yeah,
the completion of Schroeders Revenge.
So the thing, like, my point is about why I think Bethesda's the biggest loser of this acquisition is that probably, I would say, the same amount of players that have played their previous games will probably end up playing stuff like Redfall and Starfield. I think probably, 10 million plus, probably maybe even higher, 15 million plus will play some of these games. But I think at this point, you can absolutely say with certainty that the engagement of these people that are playing on free on Game Pass is certainly less than other platforms. Basically, is what I'm saying. Like I think if you're at like 10% completion on Wolong, that's telling me 90% of people that played it can't beat the first boss or are unwilling to beat the first boss,
or they just tuned out, and
or they just they just tuned out, right? And I've seen that with like a bunch of other games too, where it's like very like the thing is like the thing that like is beyond obvious to me is that the investment that a gamer would put into a game when they buy it for $60 or $70 is way I got a little visitor. Is way higher than someone that just downloads something for free.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Like if it's free, then if you don't like it within the first 20 minutes, no harm, no foul. You just delete the game, right?
Yeah. And that's usually how it goes. Like you mentioned Wolong, it's like it sold incredibly like if you look at the sales from PlayStation to Xbox, it was like a really high percent, like over 90% or something.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. And then like you're gonna see that. I think Starfield's gonna do probably like really well on PC, like Steam wise and everything.
Oh yes, yeah.
But I think that's gonna be its biggest money maker for Bethesda and Xbox. And whereas then you got the Game Pass, where a lot of Xbox console owners are going to just try through Game Pass, because like I said, they have kind of a not so good reputation with the PC app. It's getting better from what I've heard. Like Cage mentioned it to me and all this. But a lot of the people rather play it on Steam than the PC Game Pass app.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's why it's the biggest tragedy, man. That's why it's like hopefully Microsoft can build their base up so that they can rival Sony in terms of player base and all that stuff. But I just find it like really there's literally like millions of like hardcore gamers that would invest 500 or 1,000 hours in Starfield. That just won't have access to it and just won't. And same with Redfall too, right?
Yeah.
Probably, correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, but I think when it comes to consoles, I think Sony probably has the most hardcore dedicated, right? I think that the largest number of like hardcore dedicated gamers. I know Microsoft and Nintendo do too, but like we were saying, I think Nintendo's hardcore audience is like 10 million. Microsoft, I assume it's probably somewhere around the same, 10 million, 15 million. Sony has way more. Like when a PlayStation fan buys a game, like they beat the game, right? The majority of them, not all the time, like not every game, but if you look, because I think if you look at I think I remember reading like articles about Ghost of Tsushima had the highest completion rate of any open world game. Right, God of War has like a ridiculously high amount of people that have completed the entire 20-hour adventure, right? So,
it is worth mentioning though. Obviously, because I think was Hellblade 2 slated for this year or next year? Or was
no one knows.
So it's just Redfall. For this year.
Redfall, Starfield, and Forza.
Forspoken. I'm not Forspoken.
Minecraft.
I think
Minecraft.
someone like Jeff Grubb or something said there's an offhand chance that Hellblade
may come. Yeah.
And what about Avowed? Nothing. Nothing.
No, it's not coming out this year.
Avowed is a year or two off.
So no, the reason why I was gonna bring that up is because I was gonna ask you guys. I mean, we all played Hellblade on PS, and I loved the hell out of it. I don't know if you all loved Hellblade, the original, but do you think
that was great?
Do you think Hellblade 2 is enough to move the needle, at least to help them a bit? No.
What do you mean by move the needle? Are you asking
I guess build a little bit more intrigue, build a little faith for them, because
so with intrigue and faith, are you trying to say will it translate to more Game Pass subscription numbers going higher? Or
See, not even the Game Pass subscription. I guess what I'm saying is build a little fire. You know what I mean? Throw some gas out there with this. You know what I mean? Get some attention for them.
I mean,
do you think this is?
I don't know, dude. Like, because the thing is, like, the only thing we can compare are like the numbers when it came to Steam and PlayStation and Xbox, when then it finally launched on Xbox Hellblade. And if I recall, like, those other platforms sold more for that game compared to the Xbox version, if I recalled.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think you're right. It launched super late on Xbox, like you're saying. So that's the rationale for.
So I don't know. I mean, I got no clue. Like, I think it will definitely be good, but I don't know, like, if a lot of people are going to finish or play it like that.
Yeah.
I think like Hellblade's not going to push the needle for Microsoft Xbox as a business. It's not going to sell consoles. It's not going to drive Game Pass membership. But Hellblade 2 will be a game that will engage the existing audience of Xbox to probably like a pretty good degree, right? Like, I think I think that's it. Like, it's more of like a retention strategy type game, right? Like, it's a game that they're going to release, and me included, because I got Game Pass, I got Xbox. We'll be playing the game. We're probably gonna love it because it's Ninja Theory and it's Hellblade, and we'll be talking about, like, you know, how cool the graphics are and how awesome the story is and the audio and like all the other cool elements of it. So I think it's gonna, like, you know, it's gonna dominate the headlines for the hardcore.
It'll look good, yeah. It's gonna dominate like headlines for like visuals, probably. Like, it looks great, sound design and music. But I mean,
well, for sure. Even the same thing with Redfall, right? Like,
yeah.
Redfall's not the only title.
Not, yeah.
The only title that Microsoft has that's going to move the needle is Starfield.
And that's like I wanted to mention, it's like there was a question like what
Doom or something.
Like,
no,
people
Doom's not
will buy an
no.
Xbox.
No, I'm saying unless they have like a Doom announcement hidden somewhere, like, hey guys, Doom. I don't know.
Like, people will sub to like, new people will sub to Game Pass for Starfield.
I agree with that. I think it's definitely going to move the needle, but it's also very important for Microsoft to get that game right, or Bethesda, because it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like do or die, but it's their most important game release.
Yeah.
That has happened for quite some time. So if that game doesn't launch well or good, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, we can't afford a Cyberpunk moment.
No, but I was actually just going to bring up Cyberpunk and say that I think the game obviously should launch, like, you know, super polished and be like super amazing, but I actually don't think there's a whole lot of pressure for that, because I think if there's any other game that could Cyberpunk it, it's this, right? Like, this is even if the game launches a broken mess, you're still, like, just like with Cyberpunk, you're gonna have, like, you know, the hardcore audience, at least like a group of them still supporting it, right? People are gonna be like raving about how great the game is, even if it's a total mess.
Yeah.
But I think it's the type of game where they could patch over time, because, like,
I don't think that they're like are able to have that moment anymore, though. Like, because they already, like, remember Fallout 4, like, that they started getting criticism, and like you're seeing like a mainline Fallout game from 3, which I think was a 90 on Metacritic, then it was like an 80 something on Metacritic, and then Fallout 76, it's like a lot of critics now, as well as, like, even, I don't want to say fans, maybe some people as fans are starting to criticize Todd Howard. So I feel like this game is going to be heavily scrutinized, especially it being a brand new IP on top of that. So it's like, it's kind of, it's like do or die moment for even Todd himself.
I don't know, man. I think Bethesda fans are just like Nintendo fans, and they'll buy whatever. As far as I can remember, you're right
when it comes to like Fallout 4 sold like a lot.
Yeah. Fallout 4, as far as I can remember, was the best selling Fallout game. For sure Fallout 4 it was over like 10 million. It was probably closer to 15 or 20 million. Like, it sold a lot a lot of copies, and it was not in a good spot when it launched.
Yeah, but then we also have 76 too, so it's like I think critical reception and even word of mouth could hurt it. Now, like Cyberpunk, like that game sold a lot, right? But it could have sold even more if it didn't launch to the state it did, and it would have had longer legs. Now, granted, it had its own show, and now it started gaining momentum back, and its expansion, which is a different story entirely, which I don't think Starfield has that luxury of. So,
yeah, and I could see. Yeah, I mean, you guys can disagree, but I could honestly see a Cyberpunk moment coming.
Ooh.
To be
damn.
Well,
I will say I think the frame rate's not going to be
are buggy. Like,
I think it's going to be buggy.
It's not controversial to say that. Like most Bethesda games,
it's not
controversial,
but it's like that's kind of like.
Yeah, they had a couple delays.
I could honestly see it. I could see it go either way. I could see it being mind blowing, but I could also see it being underwhelming. But
I disagree.
If it is underwhelming, it's still gonna. It won't sell well, like I said, because of Game Pass. But on PC it'll sell well.
But I think
it's funny. You could have said Crackdown 3, where you said Cyberpunk. So I was like, oh,
I think there's going to be heavily scrutinized for different things, though. A lot of people don't realize it's like in this landscape, Fallout 4, when it came out at that time frame, like it didn't like get that high critic reception that a lot of people thought. Like it did, good still. But it didn't do anywhere near the critical reception of like Witcher, and Witcher came out that same year over like a 90 on Metacritic, 93 or something like that, right? So it's like these RPG games are becoming like more like better in terms of the genre, and like Larian Studios, one of those studios that makes really compelling stories and great RPG mechanics, whereas Todd's games now have been kind of like devolving and just like making it more mainstream. And you're kind of seeing that with the critic reception as well. Like their storylines aren't amazing. Todd's like in-house writers aren't like really good when it comes to storytelling whatsoever, compared to like The Witcher or Larian when it comes to Divinity. So I feel like it's gonna be heavily scrutinized on that aspect as well, because it's gonna like people going to say it feels very like, I don't like to say commercialized, but like they're trying to reach as many people as possible, and as a result, like critic reception might not be as favorable as they would want it. Like it could still be in the 80s, but I don't think 90s is going to be very tough for them to hit.
I think, I don't know, man. I'm gonna play Starfield regardless. Starfield is honestly the one game this year that I'd recommend everybody. Don't worry about what media says. Like do whatever your gut says, right? If you want to play it, play it. If you don't. Because I think this game is going to be like similar to Cyberpunk. Do you remember what was Cyberpunk about how like a lot like even before it got released, and then right when it got released, there were so many folks that were like saying how great this game was, and it was like the best thing, the best the people, the yellow chair folks, right?
The ones who got it all on PC.
Here's the why I wouldn't trust it is I just don't think they're. I think the hype is going to get to too many people, and also a lot of people think this game is sort of like make or break Xbox, at least for this year, right? And so like the one thing that I can say is almost guaranteed is like, if you look at, say, like Resident Evil 4 Remake on Metacritic, you'll see something like 88 outlets reviewed it on PlayStation. I think 17 or something reviewed it on Xbox, right? That basically shows you, I mean, if you look at every other game, it's pretty similar. Pretty much shows you that there's like 15 to 20 like dedicated Xbox websites, because that's literally the only people that are playing these games on Xbox. I absolutely think that they're all going to rate, or 90% are going to rate this game like substantially higher than, multi-platform webs. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're all going to give it 10 out of 10.
Like PlayStation lifestyles. You don't
9 out of 10s. I think this is like absolutely a game that you can't trust what any, including me, because I review games too. I wouldn't trust anybody. This is a game that you got to play for yourself. You got to see. You got to make your own decisions.
I don't expect Xbox.com to give it a 2. I expect like 4s and
Xbox
5.
era
yeah.
and pure Xbox. Do you see pure Xbox giving the game that's gonna like make or break their entire console platform?
Yeah,
a 6 out of 10.
That's gonna be a pure nightmare. I hope they don't have an issue of that nature. It's gonna be
like if you do look at reviewers, like pick a couple that you really trust. I would say like probably the ones that are more multi-platform.
Yeah.
That don't show clear biases, because I don't want to like throw a lot of sites under the bus, but like you can see, for example, like with IGN, like they have a couple of folks that for lack of better words, like drank the green Kool-Aid, and like no matter how bad the situation gets, there certain folks at IGN that will always say the greatest things about them.
Yeah.
So I think you just gotta be like really selective about who you're trusting for opinions on this game, because it's there's going to be a lot of like other factors aside from the actual quality of the game that's going to come into it. The hype, we got to show our solidarity with Xbox and platform, and we got to show that this Bethesda acquisition was like worth it, and this is going to be the needle mover for Xbox.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, it's you know what? I'll just let fate decide. I ain't even gonna say that. I'm not jinxing it. Everybody watch it. I'm not jinxing it. We'll see what's up with Starfield. We'll see. Hoping for the best. Right, don't you say a word. I saw that evil smirk. Don't you say a word.
Yeah, man.
Don't you say a word.
Well, I'll be there hopefully day one, man. Like,
I mean,
I'm actually more excited about Redfall than I am Starfield based on what I've seen. But
I mean, that makes sense.
I can't wait to play Starfield.
Listen, the only game I'm excited for, Avowed from Obsidian. That's literally the only game I'm super excited.
Oh, what?
For
Not Hellblade?
I must Hellblade.
I'm like kinda, but dude, Avowed for me is like, I love Obsidian, so
yeah,
Obsidian,
yeah.
When they make
for sure, I agree with Avowed.
RPG games, like those hardcore RPG games, I'm always down for. Like, I'm gonna be there.
This is why I can't have conversations with Xbox fans, because they always think I'm nuts, man. I totally agree with you. Like I'm like 10 times more hyped for Avowed and Hellblade than I am for Starfield. I think both of those games like look better, present better, probably end up being better. Like Avowed for sure. Like,
dude, I tell people this all the time. Obsidian is a better RPG studio than Todd's team. I say that all the time because they are. Yeah. Fallout New Vegas to me is a way better Fallout game than Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Oh. I think Obsidian is top tier. Dude, they're in their team, they have original developers that made Fallout 1 and 2. Like they have the original guys there. And Obsidian, they know how to make RPG games. They know how to make compelling stories. Todd's team doesn't really know how to do that.
That's a good question in the chat, though. That's a good point in the chat. We still haven't heard anything about the initiative or from the initiative. Yeah.
Listen, that's gonna take a minute, man.
That's 2028. That's like end of the gen. That's 2028.
They have to get Crystal to help with that game. So
I could honestly like. Yeah. I could perfect. I could honestly see my Xbox Game of the Year, and especially my Microsoft Studios Game of the Year beating Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just like, I don't care if my takes are like, people think I'm out to lunch, and that it's ridiculous to even think that Hi-Fi could be better than Redfall or Forza or Starfield. But I'm gonna go into those games like fully open-minded and optimistic. But based on what I've seen versus what I played with Hi-Fi, like I'm pretty sure that game is gonna top my Xbox list, if not, crack my top 10 overall the whole year.
Agreed.
It's the same thing, like I think 2 years ago when Psychonauts released.
Oh, yeah,
like Psychonauts 2 was my Xbox Game of the Year. I think that was 2 years ago.
That game was slept on too. Honestly, a lot of people. It felt like a lot of
I
people.
think that
slept
wasn't
on
the same year that that was the Halo year, wasn't it?
It was, but it was like it was slept on. Everybody was trying to
Yeah.
like talk about Halo over that.
Like,
I'm like, yeah, it was weird.
People were like, every time I tweeted or talked about it, people were always like breathing down my neck with that. Psychonauts 2 is a better game than Halo Infinite. That's my opinion. I'll go to the grave with that. I think the campaign for Halo was extremely good, but I had more fun, and I just think
Yep.
I think it was like a more ambitious and just more thought and creativity.
Yeah.
I thought Psychonauts 2 was like bursting with creativity.
I agree. So what are your thoughts on that new rumored Fable game? I mean, we won't know until.
Dude, we got the CGI, like we have the CGI when they first did the Xbox.
We won't see that until the end of the gen, probably.
Other than like almost every other Microsoft studio, I'm kind of like
just a CGI trailer. I don't know what
optimistic.
Yeah.
Like I think all these games or most of these games will end up turning out like okay, potentially even great and like awesome or incredible. But yeah, I'm not excited because it was how many years ago? 2 years ago? 2.5 years ago that they
2020.
Two and a half years ago. I think it was E3 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, well, technically there was no E3 at that time frame, but like it was around the same time.
Like they had like a digital showcase or whatever. Yeah, like 2.5 years ago, they showed that. But yeah, like I mean, like you, this is the thing. Like the unfortunate thing with Microsoft and their studios is like 9 times out of 10 that what the news you hear is bad news and not good news. Like all we've heard from that game like is that the developers are struggling.
Yeah.
It's like a team that has only done racing games or mostly done racing games that now doing an ambitious open world RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of learnings and it's slow going. And then you also heard things about, I guess, like I mean, who knows if it's true or not, but rumors of like Microsoft is forcing them to use the Forza engine for this game, which has caused a lot of problems because I guess like everyone prefers things like Unreal Engine. A lot if you're hiring staff for your game, right? Like almost every developer has probably worked in Unreal Engine, so they can immediately like go to work but they've got to take the time to learn this new engine. And I guess it's not like it's an engine that was designed for racing games, and trying to mold and convert that into an RPG open world game is causing a lot of issues, right? So it's like, what are you supposed to, like? What am I supposed to think about the game? All I've heard is I saw a trailer that got me excited, and then all I've heard ever since that is just bad news. No other trailers. No other positive developments. I've just heard bad news in the last 2 years.
Right.
Same with Undead Labs, and same with 343, and same with the Coalition, and same with the Initiative.
Yep. No
just,
lies. No lies detected.
A lot of bad news.
No lies detected. None.
And then they come out with high. That's the funny thing. And then they come out with things like Hi-Fi Rush, which is
Hi-Fi Rush was okay.
Immediately like an incredible experience. Just wild that.
Yeah, that was okay. I mean, that was at least a breath of fresh air for him. That whole situation.
Yeah, even if you didn't like, I can see why some people might not like the game if you're not into like rhythm games. But regardless, like it should be exciting because that game is like oozing personality, oozing creativity. It's technically flawless. Like I don't see any there's nothing that I'm seeing when I'm playing, like no slowdown, no glitching, nothing like that. It's a perfectly polished, highly creative game from a Microsoft Studios that has largely not shown that in previous years. So I think that alone should be exciting news.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to really say. I don't even know what else to say. Okay, I don't want to jinx them. I don't want to be weird. It's just tough to be excited. I just put it like that for anything Xbox, just based on what we've seen. Now, some people might say, "Oh, this sounds like a bad vibe you guys create." No, that's just the vibe that was set. You know what I mean? It's all wait until type of thing and to wow us at this point. So hopefully they do deliver. I just feel like that, man. I don't have any crazy stuff.
I think it's going to be a good year for them. Like,
I hope so.
At least like I'm not sure if the games are gonna like appeal to everybody. They certainly won't. But I think overall it's actually going to be like probably one of the best years for Xbox for a while. I think Redfall should probably end up being pretty decent, if not fun. Like I think there's a good chance that game's going to be good. The new Minecraft game, anything Minecraft just prints money.
Yeah,
and it's multi-platform. So that game's going to print money. Hi-Fi Rush is an amazing way to start the year. Redfield is going to make a splash regardless of how good it is. And then you got Forza Motorsport, which is
I think that might be coming out in fall, right? Like that.
Yeah.
I think maybe October.
And like in terms of quality of the games, the Forza series is the only one that you can absolutely bank on, right? Okay. The Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport, both those franchises, they're geared, like, even you may not like racing games, so you may not be into them, but they will always be high quality games. That's just the history of those series. So I think it's going to be probably one of the best years for Microsoft in a very long time. So I think
it's already better than last year because we had some games.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There you go. There's a positive. There's a positive there.
Hey, man, whoa, you weren't impressed with Scorn?
Oh, let's not do this. Let's not do this.
Well, I even tweeted out like
Hunter still got PTSD from that game.
I saw a couple of articles I tweeted out like last week, which was like super interesting to me. But the 5 most wish listed games on Steam right now, they're all coming to Game Pass. Go if you don't believe me, go Google it, go look it up.
What games were those? Do you know? What games?
Oh, it was like
probably Starfield.
Well, there you go.
Starfield was one of them. There was one that was like, I don't know what it was. It was trying to remember. It was one that I had never even heard of. Some like animal game or something.
Oh wow.
That looked really funny. I don't know. Let me just Google it because I think Silk Song was another one.
Makes sense.
I think Stalker was one of them too, if I recall. But anyways, let me get the official list.
That makes sense. Stalker being up on there. It's been everybody's looking forward to that.
Yeah, Pure Xbox has an article up here. The five. These are all in the top 10 most wish listed games currently on Steam, and I went to Steam's website to verify it. Number 1 most wish listed game is Starfield, and that's coming to Game Pass. The other one is called Party Animals. I've never heard of this one, but Party Animals, and this is totally legit, the 3rd most wish listed game on Steam. I've never even heard of it, but apparently it's big. Hollow Knight Silk Song is number 4 most wish listed. It's coming to Game Pass. Stalker 2 is the 6th most wish listed, coming to Game Pass, and Ark 2 is the 9th most wish listed game on Steam, also coming to Game Pass. Like that's like, yeah. I keep on saying, like, I don't even really care so much about Microsoft first party, because I think the other games that they put on Game Pass make Xbox and Game Pass worthwhile. But like that's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. Like the 5 of the top 10, man. Like I can't see how anyone, like the people I see, like, obviously all the time people ranting and raving about how they don't like Xbox and Game Pass and all this. I just don't understand that at all, man. Like how unless it's people that have just like really like obscure taste that like none of your favorites would be in the Steam top 10. But I certainly like, I can't wait for Stalker. I can't wait for Silksong. I can't wait for Starfield, Arc 2. And I'm like, I'll play it. I'll play it.
For me, it's Hellblade 2. Avowed has my attention for sure. And what's the other one? What would be the last one for that?
Yeah, but you're talking about just first party though. I'm talking. You're not excited for their third party?
What was their big
like Hollow Knight? Like you don't.
Hollow Knight looked good. Yeah, Hollow Knight looked good.
Yeah, like Stalker 2. You're not.
Yeah, Stalker 2 definitely looked good. That's not on track though for this year, if I remember correctly, right? Because of the whole situation. I
think it was supposed to be, but then
that's probably 2024 at this rate. Which hopefully, shout out to them. Like, hopefully they, they're good. But that's crazy. But damn, man, we've been live for 3 hours. I think that makes up for 3 weeks. There you go, right there. That makes up for
it. Well, there you go.
So there you guys go, man. 3-hour episode. Shout out to everybody who came through. Awesome show, man. It was good. It's good to be back. Good to see everybody. Glad everybody's well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you guys check out Blaze. Be live tomorrow. And check out Red Hood. He's live on his Twitch. He's also doing his podcast, Overleveled, over there on Twitch. So shout out to him doing his thing. And, of course, make sure you guys check out Hunter. Help him on this road, man. He's almost at 100K followers on Twitter, man. He might do it. Might get it at the end of this year. You never know. You might get it. No pressure. Let's do our outros, man. Red Hood, tell people where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, man. Check me out on Twitch at RedHood420. I will probably do a late stream Monday because it'll be my birthday. So we'll try to do a birthday stream on Monday. Probably going to be late. I don't know, like either 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check that out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm 30s. Enjoy it, brother. Enjoy.
Whoa! I'm not anywhere in my 30s, my guy.
You're closing in on your 30s.
I'm 20. I'm gonna be 27. Okay, chill.
Yeah, you're closing in on your 30s.
Chill.
Enjoy it.
27, bro. Anyways, so check that out. Might be making a couple Final Fantasy videos on YouTube. Gotta just figure out how to make thumbnails correctly before doing so. That'll be at my YouTube as well.
Drop a link in the chat there, Reddit, for your Twitter. And of course, Hunter, good to see you, brother. Glad everything's well, man. Good to have you back on. Tell the people where they can find you, my guy.
Yeah, so you can check me out on Twitter. Just go to Next Gen Player. Try to tweet as much as I can. I tweet. Try to tweet like. I mean, it's mainly I would say PlayStation news, but I try to also throw in a lot of like general industry news as well. So if you're interested in like, game sales and how consoles are doing and any of the big moves that happen, I also like to talk a lot about like upcoming games and new releases. So I tweet a lot about like, here's the games that are coming out for next week, and here's all the horror games that are coming out this year and stuff like that. So I'm a listicle kind of guy. So yeah, you can check me out on there. And just to go back to the beginning of this podcast, like anyone that's even remotely sitting on the fence for RE4, like get off that damn fence, buy the game, go. If you don't have money, go to your friend's house, find a rental shop if you can. Like, you got to play the game. The game I hope that this game seriously gets considered for end of year awards. I think every time I tweet about a remake of a game, people are like, no, like 90% will be like, yeah, man, like, yeah, we should nominate this game, but 10% will be like, no, you can't nominate a remake is an old game. You can't nominate an old game. I'm like,
I mean,
like a reimaginative though, kind of.
Yeah, this is definitely not a remake. This feels like a more reimagined, full blown reimagine of the original.
Oh yeah, like like I said, they sit side by side. Like they're not one is not going to eat away at the other. They're absolutely like top tier. It's almost like a new game. Like aside from like you're visiting familiar locations and familiar bosses and all that stuff, but it'll still feel like almost a new game, which is awesome. So so definitely check that out. And last thing I'll say is, if there's anyone out there, I doubt it, but if there's anyone that's watching that's a huge, massive Peppa Pig fan.
Oh God.
Pablo, shout out to Pablo.
Stay tuned. Go check out Next Gen Player on Twitter, because I just got Peppa Pig's new game, and I am going to be diving in. I'm going to platinum Peppa Pig this weekend, and I'm going to tweet out some trophies, and oh yeah. So expect a lot of Peppa.
Dude, this man would go crazy if he heard you right now. He'll be like, dude, Peppa the Pig? Dude, I love that game.
Who?
Pablo.
Our friend Pablo.
Oh, Pablo. Oh, yeah.
I think you've seen him in the chat before.
I have the weirdest taste in games, and I'll play like literally anything. I'm excited.
What was that game? I forgot. It was like an indie game you were playing, but it was like you were like shooting like projectiles, and like you're inside the dude's like mouth. He was like chomping. Like I think Shuhei tweeted it. It was a while ago. I've been wanting to try that out.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I think excuse me, I'm coughing up a lung here. I think I know what you're talking about. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it was like an indie title. It was
I think it's Never Awake. I think that's what you're talking about. Never Awake.
Never Awake. Video game. Let me see. That sounds about right. I think that is it. Hold on.
I think it's just one word.
I
think it's just one word. Never Awake.
Oops.
I just had a look. I'm pretty sure it's Never Awake that you're talking about. It's the shooter game.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, I was curious about that. No, that game was mad fun. I wanted to try that out.
Yeah. It's I play a lot of like really weird random games. I go from Resident Evil to Peppa Pig, man. That's me. So
oh man.
yeah, I wish I could share more about RE. I guess I can, but I gotta. The embargo is like super strict. I obviously can't like.
Oh well.
Actually, you know what? Never mind. I think actually, if I reread it, I think I can do things like tweet videos and images, stuff like that. I think, but I probably won't. Because I want to preserve the experience for everyone. So
yeah,
but I think after launch, I'll probably you'll probably see a lot of RE4 on my timeline too.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool. But no, shout out to you, shout out to Red Hood, everybody, man. Good man, great episode. Definitely see you guys next week, and much love, man. We appreciate y'all coming through. All right, y'all be good.
Peace.